Good afternoon, welcome. Round 13 QAFL action down here at Subaru Oval in Broadbeach, where the Cats, sitting in 4th at the moment, take on the 6th placed Labrador Tigers. And I'll tell you what, big game in the context of both of these teams this season. Nothing better than I'm down here calling with the great Matty Carroll. Matty, a few big changes coming in this afternoon.
Thanks, Nick. Yeah, a few changes for both teams. A huge number for Labrador. 4 ins for Broadbeach this afternoon. They've got Shears, Miller, Burton and Stone in, which is big for them. But Labrador bring back some big guns. They get McKay, who was excellent in the state game. Fagan, Hollister Ruckman, Kenny, Clement and Bryce Retzlaff, their leading goal scorer for the year with 22 goals. Really handy ins for the Tigers.
Yeah, it should be really challenging here. A win for the Tigers this afternoon means they'll be challenging for 5th position, whereas Broadbeach, if they manage to get up this afternoon, they'll be sitting there on 2nd, just below Morningside on percentage. So massive in the context of the season. Now, we're just looking in the middle of the ground. You can see that big mud patch where the cricket pitch is. They've decided not to go back further to that middle centre circle, choosing to go up in the middle. So it's going to be a mud bath to start this one off. And the white jerseys of the Tigers, they're going to get filthy early on. We're about to get underway. Matty Carroll with the call.
Hollis back in for the Tigers. Will go up against Betts, and Hollis does get off the ground. It's a good effort in that mud patch. Ericsson tracks it wide, gives a handball to Searle. Searle back to Betson. Can't change direction. His cleats are full of mud already. Goes back to Searle by hand, and they'll kick it wide. Bokey's going to chase this one. Can he gather? He can gather. Stepping left foot. Goes through. Just a narrow angling ball. Not enough on it, and it's picked up there nicely by the Tigers defence, and Walker kicks him out wide.
Yeah, Sammy Walker kicks it out wide, but only as far as Jake Hines kicked 5 against the Tigers last time these two teams met over at Labrador, and he's just going to have to kick long back in towards a hot spot. Cloping out. Over the back, wasn't able to plug it down. It's a fascinating start already, but they're not out of danger yet, the Tigers. Now they're going to have to just bomb it long down the line, courtesy of Jackson. Kicks it to the middle, into the mud patch. Now they've got a bit of space to move. Hands it over to Clements. Clements out wide to the wing on the half volley. Cops are wronging. Little hands came through there, courtesy of the Cats. Now it's spilling around. They've got to try and avoid the centre of the ground. Bokey just turns on the jets and gets going. Now they're out and away. Going back long towards the forward line. Looking in the close direction over his head. No push, wasn't called. Tapped over the line. Can he keep it in? He manages to. Clever play. Now they're back out through the far side. It's Sorensen gets a hand over the top. Forced to run back into danger there with Shears. Hands back through to the ground. Nicely done. Now the Tigers can escape out the far side. Kick not good enough. Still not out of danger. Burton, left foot ball, and that's a lot better there. Finds its way to Blake Ericsson about 50 metres out.
Well, take a breath, Nick. That's a frantic start. Can I rewind about 90 seconds?
Absolutely.
Jack O'Shea went absolutely skybound with that leap. He had 2 hands on the car and unfortunately didn't control it all the way down, but what a leap that was. And the umpire's not happy with the footy here at the moment. Not sure why. They want a new footy already.
The time loss been called.
Not entirely sure what's wrong with this pill, but the umpire wanted it from Ericsson. I don't think Ericsson requested this. I think the umpire wanted to have a look at it, and we might get a look. It's not pumped up, I don't think.
Oh, and that's what cost Jack O'Shea the mark right there. The flat ball. That had been a fully pumped footy, he would have been fine.
So they're bringing the football back up here, but Jack O'Shea. I tell you what, when he watches that back, that's almost the greatest mark you'll ever see at Subaru Oval.
No, what you do is you just freeze frame it right in the moment it's in the middle of the Dukes, and then you send that around to social media.
Well, it won't matter. In a few years' time, he took that mark. But Blake Ericsson, he gets a brand new footy that hasn't seen any mud yet to have this shot at goal, and the Grogan medalist, the umpire just...
he's roughed it up.
He nearly sent it into the mud, but he didn't. It's all right. Ericsson's going to get it. So, bit of a swirly breeze today, Nick. Not sure what impact that's going to have on this shot at goal. Ericsson's a real smooth mover, as we know. We'll see what effect the breeze may have. So, deliberate approach, crosses the 50, kick on its way. Goal umpire hasn't moved. That's a goal. The Cats are on the board early. They strike first.
There's a nice little bit of ball movement that actually brought that back inside. They decided not to rush. You can see they're already starting to double team Cloak down the goal square. So if they just shell it around the top of the 50, the Cats started to present a lot more options pushing down from the wing. And Ericsson just found himself in the right position there. So great start there for Broadbeach. Already one on the board. As we said, a lot riding on this match this afternoon. And they'll really want to push their chances for the double chance come September time.
Absolutely, and when we look at the ladder, I think if Broadbeach win, they may even push up to second. Their percentage is superior to Morningside, so I believe they may go to second, possibly third. We'll have a look at that. But Labrador trying to keep touch with the 5 here, so Really important game. Local derbies are always big business down here on the coast, and we hopefully have got a beauty this afternoon. Betson leaps early, doesn't get a hand on it. Hollis just waits for it. Ball's just stuck in the mud. Burton picks it up, gets a little handball out to Fisher, tackled immediately. Hollis goes by foot, couldn't quite get it. Nicely picked up there, squeezes a handball out, and we're going forward through Fraser. Fraser kicking it forward, can't get it. Retzlaff playing forward today. Goes to ground. Good ball. Oh, he's paid in the back there. I thought that was pretty well done by the Broadbeach defence, but he's infringed, and Retzlaff gets an early look at it. He just pops it to the hot spot. Burton's got back though, and he takes a nice mark.
Yeah, nicely taken there by Burton. So now they're going to look to switch it out the far side of the ground, and they do. Finds Rainsford Stone on debut this afternoon. Right foot ball down the wing now. Got the overlap, just has to hold his body well. Keeps his feet nicely done, does Kai Shears. Now he picks it up, looking inside the forward line, in the Cloak direction. His opponent falls over, but it goes straight through his hands as well. On the deck, Cloak gets the hands out. Joshua Searle, right foot ball, back to the hot spot. Nicely taken just in front. So good momentum building run there by the Cats, but just couldn't finish in the danger zone. The ball comes out through Isaac Miller, just in the middle of the Labrador defensive line.
So Miller looks long to the boundary. He's going to look for Wade Mills here. We know he's a good aerialist, but he can't go up against three there and beat them. Boakey's tracking this footy. Good strong body. Gets a little tap out handball to Searle. Searle looks for Boakey. A little soft touch over the top. It's beautiful. Boakey steps off the right this time. Shakes the tackle. Can't shake it twice though. Umpire's forgiving. Gets a handball. Mills is going to track this one. Little handball out, and they'll look to go through the ruckman. Hollis. He just hacks it high. Standing underneath this one's Dengies, and he takes the mark. Dengies looks out wide, looking for Lyons out the far side. Ball pitches. Oh, able to use his feet nicely, his Lyons. Little chipping ball through to Burton. He's been lively early. Burton's just going to settle it down for a second. Betson wants it on the forward flank, not used. Goes to Cloak instead. It's not a bad pass. Cloak couldn't quite stick it in the hands. Handball to Ericsson. Sells some candy. Back to Burton. Burton, a little chipping ball through. It's a nice pass. Fowler picks it up on the half volley beautifully, but picking his pocket is beautifully done there. That was Sam Walker. And they track it out wide. A nice mark taken. That's Clements. Not paid.
No play on. Looks like they have to shell it back now. They've got a lot of space to work with, but going to try and bring it inside the corridor now. Turnover now. The Cats can run forward if they want. Back inside the danger direction towards Fowler. One hand goes Jumpman style. Couldn't bring it down. Now they can move it out the far side. Nick Jackson hands through the corridor now. Big high looping hand pass. Wasn't quite good enough. Puts his man Lakeman under pressure, and the Cats can clean it up through Chadwick. Now they go forward again, but it's a wobbly kick. Wobbling, just drops into the hands now of Jared Graham, but they're not wasting any time. The Tigers, they want to get it going. Sam Walker punches it long inside forward 50. They've got back position, but they've got numbers, the Cats. Drops to the toes there. Can't quite pick it up. Now they've got to look backwards. Good wrapping up tackle. The Cats are moving nicely. Now back inside. They've got a man across the half-back line. Now they can push wide, looking for Lyons, and he's got an absolute paddock to work with. Now he's just off and away, Jai Lyons. One bounce inside the forward line, chopped off again. This might be the story of the day, Matty Carroll.
This is frenetic football. This pace cannot continue, you wouldn't think. So Retzlaff gets it on the far side. Plays on, got nothing to go to really, just has to backpedal a little bit. Going wide to Mills, who's pushed really hard. Dengies does well to get across. It won't go out of bounds though. There's no stoppage inside at the moment as the Cats defence are resolute. Lyons gets the handball out, coming through is Betson. Betson feeds right back to Dengies. Dengies wanted to come this side. There's no one out here though. That's a good handball through, and he kicks it wide, and that's an interesting decision from Chadwick, but it's going to work out, and the Cats will look to try and spot up a target, although he's kicked it to the wrong team. Taking the mark nicely is Butterick, and he has a man in short, doesn't use him. Goes now a bit longer. Mills out the back. Mills will fly, gets pushed out of it. He's going to get a free kick.
Yeah, well played.
Wade Mills, well, that's the first time I can remember the ball stopping in about 3 minutes, Nick.
I was going to say, it's just trench warfare at the moment, just through that middle section of the ground. No one able to break over the half-forward line. Wade Mills at the 2-on-1 just used his experience there just to work the push out. And, well, finally, you and I can take a breather and soak in a few of the players as we see Clarby Bogan just coming back onto the ground now. So Wade Mills is going to be lining up 45-degree angle. As you mentioned, a bit of a swirly breeze. We watched the Labrador players kicking towards this end of the warm-up, and a few footies just drifting late. So he's going to have to be deliberate about his approach.
So Mills looking for Labrador's first of the afternoon to answer Ericsson's opening goal of the day. Deliberate approach, not a difficult kick, and he pokes it through for a goal. Mills is on the board, Labrador on the board. It's 1 goal each, and interesting, Mills is up forward today. Haven't seen a lot of Labrador, but he is a swingman. He can go to both ends, but obviously Coach Liam Burke likes him up forward with Retzlaff this week.
Yeah, it'll take a bit of pressure off Retzlaff as well, as we mentioned. He's kicked 22 goals this season, so they would have spoken through the week, Broadbeach, about shutting down his influence. As we spoke about just before the game, last time these two sides met, it was a 52-point win to the Cats, but Retzlaff made the swing down forward and started to present, and he kicked the first 2 goals of that final term and just maybe gave him a little bit of a sniff to start with. So if they can shut him down, that'll then allow Mills to make a little bit of space for himself and just cause a couple of headaches for the Broadbeach defence.
Absolutely. Looking down back, Jaden Young, I think, has got the job on Chook Fowler, and Josh Deacon is down there on Cloak. So big jobs to be done down back there. They're acquitting themselves well thus far. Hollis and Betson. Betson's tried to jump over in the first couple of times. He's having trouble getting traction in that mud pit, though, on the cricket pitch area. Trying to get that ball out is Buderick, and he's just swamped. Somehow it comes out, and Davidson gets a kick out wide. It's a nice ball too, and Labrador, he's not marking it there, though. Dengies did well. Boakey again, he's been lively early. Can he trap this one? Retzlaff pressures. Gets a little tap out, not kicked properly there, and the pressure's going to pay off. Retzlaff gets it, chipping ball back to Mills. Is he being held? It doesn't matter, he takes the mark. He's a quality footballer, Wade Mills. Brogan medalist as well himself. Some quality footballers on the park this afternoon.
Yeah, you just saw in that contest there, Broadbeach had the numbers, but the amount of fight that came through. So Quabi Boakey just diddled around the footy for a little bit too long there, allowed the Tigers to push some numbers down, and Wade Mills already starting to cause headaches for the Cats.
Line up for his second in the space of about 60 seconds, and really that ball looked like it was going nowhere out of the middle. I think Buderick had it and got set upon by almost all of the Broadbeach midfielders, and somehow it spilled out to Davidson.
Good umpiring to let it go though.
And they allowed it to get forward, and a clever kick from Retzlaff. Could have blazed away, but he isolated Mills one-on-one there, and he backed his man in. So Wade Mills coming in for goal number 2. This one an easier task than the first one. And he has made an absolute mess of that one. That is out of bounds on the full. Just poked at it, did Wade. And unfortunately, not the result they're after. So Dengies will try and bring it back in.
As we said, a bit of a swirling breeze out there, so we can only speculate on that. As Dengies just goes long down the line. Throng of play. He's got to fly over the top, and I'll tell you what, Kai Shears has got the big knee in the back. And correct call. Shears came in with a big flying knee and just cleared out the contest a little bit too much. So now another opportunity. Reece Combe just going to go into the left football.
And the umpire's seen something. He's hated against Retzlaff, I think. It's going to come back to Broadbeach. They're going to get the ball up here. I think it's against Retzlaff for a swinging arm. Maybe it was Mills, perhaps. It might have been Mills, actually. Apologies to Bryce Retzlaff. Not Bryce. Wade Mills. Not happy that the free kick went against him, but this is Dempsey C. He's played a bit of reserves football this year, but he's come in to help out in the big man stocks for Broadbeach. And nice left foot ball down the line, looking for, but not finding. That's Hines, I think. Oh, dumped without the footy. Could have got a free kick, not paid. It is Jake Hines. And the ball spills out of bounds.
As you mentioned, Hines kicked 5 last time these two sides met, and 52-point win to Broadbeach. But yeah, maybe just trying to get under Mills' skin at the moment might be their best plan of attack. So Dempsey C gets a tap down, nicely done. And probably in the back, wasn't called, but Dempsey C, the big man, goes again. Gets the hands out now to Blake Erickson. Kicks down towards the forward 50. Just going to see this one over the line, are they? Yes, they are. And that man Hines just floating around the contest again. So it's a goal apiece as we currently sit. Nearly 12 and a half minutes gone first term. Fourth playing 6 this afternoon. So very intriguing contest we have down here at Subaru Oval.
Benji Neal all on his own out this side, and that's exactly where Dempsey C goes. Isolated his man. Chook Fowler's in the box seat, although really good defence there. Nicely done from the Labrador Tigers. And they will look to spread it out wide. The hands came out from Fagan, not taken cleanly. It comes back though to the Labrador defence. And will they be able to clean this one up now? Dancing around a little bit. They're mucking around with the footy and they've turned it over. No, following up nicely. That was good work from Deacon. And they do get it wide down the line. Flyers again for the Cats. They spoil each other. Retzlaff at the foot of the ball. He's under pressure there. It's holding the ball, I would say. Yes, it is against Lakeman. Didn't get a boot on it, and Boakey put the pressure on from behind. Good play.
Great chase down there by Boakey. He needs to apply that pressure early, just intimidate a few of the opposition if he's going to have a big hand in this game. So he just chips it. Nicely done, just down the line. Finds it Graham. Right foot ball, just back inside, kicks to a 2-on-1, spills over the back. Nicely done. Turned his man there to Joshua Searle. Runs in on the right foot, gets a bit of helicopter action on that one. How will it bounce? Hits the post.
Plenty of helicopter on that one.
Just didn't make the right connection as he ran in there, and Well, we nearly took it with him, but for a minor score, 1-7 the Cats. They play the Tigers just solitary behind. Nearly 14 minutes gone first term, and they managed to escape nicely out of the back line.
Walker going long there was a nice kick, and so what do? Looked inboard, didn't like what he saw, so just chipping up the line. Tigers maintaining possession. Pretty safe football so far. They may try and switch it back inboard. No, he's seen something he likes up the line. It's Retzlaff. Gets a bit big on him, goes over the top. Oh, nearly taken his head off. He ducked under it. Thankfully for him, that was Lakeman. He has earned the free kick, however. And so Lakeman, centre wing, far side of Subaru Oval. He'll look to pump it in forward. Mills is going to come. Oh, he falls over, Wade Mills. Huge fist coming through there. Nicely done from the Cats defence. Yeah, he's a bit proppy there, Wade Mills.
Yeah, a little bit there, Wade Mills. Just seemed to slip right at the key moment there.
It was his legs gave out on him, and he's just trying to run it out a little bit. He's getting back to the goal square. He looks like he's okay.
So back to the action now as the tap goes out the back of the play, and all the Tigers can set up behind the contest. Good little hand pass there from Davidson. Kicks along over the top. Watch how this one bounces. Goes straight through the hands of Ryan Dengies. They're under pressure here, Broadbeach, so they've got to work hard in the contest. Manages to get the hands out now. Body's already covered in mud. Caps down, not 15 play on. Even though he pulled it down there, did Blake Erickson. And the umpire's going to come in and say, that's enough of that. I will ball that up. That's umpire Jackson Burney there. So just sitting at 48 metres out from the Labrador goal. They trail by the Saltry behind. 15 minutes gone. First term down here at Subaru Oval. As the tap comes down, Hollis just couldn't manage to get front position. He tries to break through, appeals for holding the ball, and given good tackle there. And that was courtesy of Joshua Searle. He wanted that footy and he got it.
So Josh Searle has been in good form in season 2019, played in the representative game as well and acquitted himself very well. So he's going to look long down the line. Dempsey C to fly. Good hands from Luke Dempsey C. He's going to go back. We've already seen his left foot on this wing. He'll use it again there. Chipping ball. Doesn't quite get to his intended target. Good follow-up from Labrador there. Couldn't quite pick it up though. Sharking the footy but missing the target, and they're just paddling around a bit and can't keep it in. Ball goes out of bounds on the far side. So we saw them start with Hollis and Betson in the ruck. We've got Dempsey C up against Nick Jackson. The battle of the backups at the moment.
Yeah, it looks fit, young Dempsey C, as you said, coming up from the twos this year. But it looks like he'll just be able to provide that little bit of relief and just really just work the contest around the ground. So be prepared to see a fair bit of him this afternoon. His ball comes straight through. Erickson with a bit of dash, looking in the cloak direction. Oh, great mark. Out in front. I thought he was going to overrun that, but that is skill and experience. And he has duped that cleanly as Cloak. And he's been dishing a few off of late. And as much as I like to see the selfish play, he's been setting up his teammates nicely. He's just the 4 behinds last week against Western Magpies. He's going to dish off again because there's a man smack bang in the middle of the ground. Jackson Fisher, 13 goals for the season, and there was no one on him there, and that will frustrate the hell out of Coach Liam Burke.
Absolutely. You could see Craig was looking around. It was not the time to sag off and guard space, but Jackson Fisher, he's kicked 13 goals this year and he's lining up number 14. We go back a little bit. Before the kick to Clegg from Erickson, Kai Shears showed some beautiful hands on the far wing to release Erickson. But Jackson Fisher directly in front, heavy ball. He's tugged it left. Tugged it left there, does Fisher. They move to 1 goal 2-8. Labrador 1 goal 6. We played 17 minutes in the first quarter.
Yeah, it's really interesting this afternoon because that centre pitch area is completely taken out of the game. Now both sides being forced to use the wing. Just no one able to take care of the corridor this afternoon. So this battle has to be won out wide. And it's going to be interesting to see how they do it. It's just Hines just manages to somehow get some sort of disposal out of that contest. Labrador players appealing for holding the ball, but not called. There's the one man going for that footy and he was just trying to drive it back forward. So we've got a ball up just outside the Cats forward 50 in front of the clubhouse there. Great new facilities we've seen over the last couple of years here at Broadbeach. Just bustling through the pack comes Erickson and escorted over the line. There's that man Jackson Fisher. And so we're going to have a boundary throw and about 70 metres out from the Cats goal.
So Hollis and Betson back into the ruck now. No, Hollis is coming back off the bench. My apologies. They're just making that change now. So an opportunity here for Broadbeach. If Betson can get his hands on it, he does just that. Flicks it over the top beautifully to Benji Neal. Great smother. Ball comes to Burton. Couldn't get a handball taken high though. Got in lower and harder and won the free kick. So Nick Burton will look up. He's got some big targets there. Chipping ball through is nice. Good to... Oh, how did he mark that? Tell you what, sticky fingers there. Is that Hines? I think it might be.
Yes, it is.
Jake Hines, his defender was all over him and somehow he managed to maintain control of the footy. And we've mentioned already that he's kicked a few goals. Good spread of goal kickers for Broadbeach. They've got Jason Cloak with 22 for the year, but then they've got a number that are around the dozen range, and this man's one of them as he wheels out onto the left, leans back from 50, but that ball's just going left again, and it's another behind.
So just through for another one there. It's a third of the afternoon, 1-3-9 the Cats. Labrador just threw one straight kick. Just notice there's going to be a physical contest this afternoon. Notice Andy Hollis really needed to drop back into the hole there and just got caught ball watching, allowing Hines to run into that space. As that man we just spoke of, Hines, he's already back in the action. The ball's wrapped up just there on the half forward flank, and we're going to have a ball up. So nearly 20 minutes gone, first term. Broadbeach just starting to gain a little bit of ascendancy, but just unable to make the most of their chances, keeping the Tigers in it. But they've had the momentum as Hollis goes up against it, but couldn't get it away. A little kick forward, spills around. He's been dangerous, Blake Erickson. Now spills out the front of the pack. Nicely done by Jackson Fisher. Has to wrap him up in the tackle. Those Kai Shears, and that footy's not going anywhere. So we're going to have another stoppage just right there in the Broadbeach attacking 50. And hang on.
Oh, free kick to Graham.
Yeah, just giving it away there is Nicholas Burton.
Not much in that for mine, Nick, but the umpire didn't like what he saw, and suddenly Labrador got a chance to attack on the far side. Taking the ball out wide, knocking it out of his hands, it'll be 50. Yeah, Josh Deacon, that was really cleverly done by Deacon. Just sort of held the ball in the way of Fowler, and Fowler couldn't help himself knocking that ball out. So, opportunity to attack, Deacon with the footy. He's very close to the man on the mark. He was never going to go too far back though. He just chips it wide. No, the umpire's not happy. He's got to get back behind his mark. And so we'll see what they try to do here. Will they try and switch it out towards us? He's got numbers out this side if he comes. No, he's going to go the other way. Exactly what he did before the umpire called him up. And so Broadbeach have got huge numbers back now as the switch could be on. Just taken there. Matthew Fraser just judged it beautifully. He just goes to the hot spot. They're going to need to jump. They do jump. That was Lakeman, couldn't take the mark. That was a really fierce handball in close confines. And the Tigers just hustle the ball out of bounds under some pressure. That was Reece Coombe being tackled by Jack O'Shea. Ball's down where Labrador won it though. Hasn't been here for a while, Nick.
No, it hasn't. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with the stoppage work here. Piers Mills is actually going to contest in the ruck here. He's going up against him. So now the pressure comes in. Trozia's experience there to claim the free kick, not called. So they're going to have to escape down the line here. The Cats, little chipping ball, but gets down to the half volley and just bustling his way through the contest with Benji Neal. Play on, says the umpire. Nicely called. Going to have to work their way back, the Tigers. Now it's Jacob Kenny.
Ooh,
and he got some treatment afterwards, so they're going to pay this one downfield. So just going to be right on the 50. I think he's going to try.
Tell you what, there's no way that ball landed near Bryce.
No, absolutely it didn't. Absolutely it didn't. But
clever.
When you
clever
kick 22,
play.
you want another one.
Matthew Watmouth, beautifully done. That ball landed at his feet, and he just turned around and ran off. Said, I don't want that. Bryce Retzlaff picked it up about 15 metres away from where it actually landed and said, yep, that's mine, umpire. And this man can go the journey if he strikes it well.
Absolutely, he can. 22 goals for the season. So we said a bit of a divide in the Labrador goal kickers this year, but this man has led from the front, and this will be a real confidence kick, and this will tell us what that breeze is doing at the moment. So Retzlaff, 3 points down the Tigers. Can he unload from outside 50? He's got onto it. Right foot ball, it's going to go all the way.
Look at that.
Oh, Retzlaff. He's first of the afternoon, and the Tigers, they take the lead. It's a 3-point game here at Super Oval Labrador. 2 straight, 12. The Cats 1-3-9.
Couple of undisciplined acts, I guess you could call them. Bit unlucky perhaps, but there was a free kick at half back for some treatment after it was going to be a ball up, and then there was a bit of a nothing kick forward, and the Broadbeach defender just couldn't help tackling the man after the ball had been kicked away, and so it landed at the feet, as I said, of Matthew Watmouth, who turned around and saw Bryce Retzlaff in the region and just said, no, you can have that one. And Retzlaff didn't let him down. That was a beautiful kick for goal. That's his 23rd of the season. And so we go back to the middle. Betson and Hollis in the bog. Up they go. Oh, Betson does get a bit of a jump, but Hollis, he's doing quite well. Erickson just pokes it forward. No one can get any traction in there. Betson, the first one to get the skidding wheels, starting to spin properly. Trying to tap it on there, coming through hard. I think that's Shears getting the football, and their stacks on the middle. Now it might come out to Graham. Umpire circles, and he will ball it up. We've played 23 minutes. in the first quarter. Good contest.
Absolutely, and it was always cartoon-like as everyone tried to run as fast as they could in that mud and no one went anywhere. Almost caused the long stops to come back, so a real wrestle there. Cloak just fists it forward and not a bad move on the second bite. Bang!
Tackle.
Wraps him up at the tackle and the umpire, it was going to go two ways, but just a bit of high contact there, and the Broady forwards aren't too happy about that because they thought that was gone, holding the ball, but not to be. So the culprit on that occasion was Jack O'Shea. We saw him fly earlier in the corner. And it's a bit of a wobbly kick, puts him under pressure. Hines straight through his hand and just rides him into the ground from the back.
It's going to be one of those interesting days, I think, Nick, where sometimes after the ball's been in the mud, it'll be slippery, and other times it'll just stick.
Absolutely.
And you're not really sure which one it's going to be. Hollis thrown out of the way, he'll get a free kick. Betson's just outsized, unfortunately, and he's struggling with Andy Hollis in the ruck, so really welcome addition back for the Tigers this week as he looks up. Coming to the wing, he's got Retzlaff. No, he goes shorter. I'm not sure that was the deal, but that was a nice mark taken there. Well done by Harrison Arnold. Arnold trying to find a target. He's got a couple of shorts. He elects to go a bit longer. O'Shea's going to fly again. Not going to get to this one late. He's going to take this. Oh, sorry, Jackson will get this free kick. He stood under that one well, so he wants to go long here. This time it might get to Retzlaff. It goes over the back. Hasn't done him any favours whatsoever, and just marking him easily out the back here is
Nelson Sorensen.
Thank you.
There we go. I'll tell you what, they've been a little bit sloppy of late, the Cats. Just giving away a few undisciplined free kicks. That's a good ball. Now they're going to try and just get that moving. Nice little gun straight there to the half-forward flank, and they can set up well if they want to. It's Kai Shears, far too far out to score. Cloak's all on his own, and he's going to go in that direction now. He's going to have to work for it, Cloak. Can he get on the second bite? Can't. Hit the pack with speed there, did the Cats, and he's wrapped up in the tackle was Jack O'Shea. And we're going to have a ball up 40 metres out from the Broadbeach goal. He was all on his own, Jason Cloak, and looked dangerous with the kick, was just that little bit short. So Hollis goes at it again, taps it down to the front of the pack. They're just going to try and work their way through. The Tigers have to be good. Little kick off the ground was intercepted, and now they can escape out the forward flank, looking down the direction of Coombe. Coombe can't quite get it. Hands through. Two Tigers meet him there and tackle, and they wrap him up.
Very aggressive there. That was Reece Coombe with the tackle. I've just recognised the man. We were wondering, there was a late out somewhere for Labrador. We're trying to work out who it was. It's Alex McKay, I'm pretty sure, which is a huge out.
Well, I've missed him out there this afternoon.
He's a quality footballer. Probably best on ground in that state representative match that was played, and so in these conditions he would have thrived, I would have thought. So that's unfortunate for Labrador, but they're making a good fist of life without him at the moment. So bit of physicality coming into this game. No love lost between the local rivals. Big stakes, as we've spoken about. And so Hollis went to toe poke, although it's been handballed out this time from the Tigers. Lions down low, tackled immediately. Good job there. Nice tackle from Davidson and also from Jared Mills. Two lots of Mills out there for Labrador this afternoon.
Really good body position we just saw there from Jai Lyons. Just head down, kept his weight behind it and tried to drive straight through. So you're never going to get hurt playing footy like that the way he attacks it. Benji Neal hands back, gets the old 1-2 from Kawabi Boki. Right foot ball, Neal looking down in the foul direction. Sorry, it's Hines. Couldn't quite do it. And intercepted there by Jared Young. So he tries to escape. They're trying to open up this wing here, the Tigers. It's been trench warfare, back and forth, but now they can get it going forward. Lead comes out. Can it be taken? No, it can't. Drops on the half volley. Spills it up and around. Matty Fraser's down there trying to get his hands on the footy. Could be their escape. Mills chipping ball over the top. Looking now for Coombe.
Oh, good mark. He was in position, then he was out of position, then he worked his way back into position. Really good body work there.
And really smart footy there by Wade Mills. Just managed to chip it up to the hot spot. And got a little bit of a talking to on the mark there. Cats defender. And it looks like Joel Newman. So Coombe. Now, again, a lot of footy spent down the Broadbeach forward line, but all of a sudden the Tigers with another opportunity. Left foot ball. Let's see how this goes. And umpire waves it away. It's through for the first minor score for the Tigers of the afternoon. 2-1-13 they are. They lead Broadbeach 1-3-9. 27.5 gone in this first term. Matty Carroll.
Dengies at fullback generally doesn't muck around with the footy, and you can imagine this is going to be pumped long and high, and he's got a couple of flyers on offer here. Burton's going to come from deep, not going to get. O'Shea goes up again, doesn't get near it. Went well before acceptances. Lakeman gets the footy on the left foot. Mills camped underneath. This one's Dengies, just pushes Dengies out of the way. Good crumb there, although he couldn't take it cleanly, and that allows Broadbeach to escape. And that's a nice kick through here. Opportunity. Jake Hines. Siren goes, unfortunately. But that brings us to the end of a very entertaining quarter. Labrador 2-1-13, Broadbeach 1 goal 3-9. Blake Erickson got the first of the day for Broadbeach pretty early on, and then they had a few opportunities that they missed, unfortunately, and the goal was answered by Wade Mills, and then Bright Serestlaf kicked an absolute bomb from outside 50, and on a day where goals are pretty difficult to come by, that one was worth its weight in gold, Nick.
Absolutely. So the ascendancy just of the Tigers in that term there, but a massive second quarter it sets us up for round 13 down at Subaru Oval. It's the 4th place Cats. They're trailing the 6th place Tigers 2-1-13 to 1-3-9. We'll be back with a massive second term coming up very shortly. Sunday afternoon footy down here at Subaru Oval. It's round 13 of the QAFL and Broadbeach at home to Labrador. But I'll tell you what, with that filthy centre square at the moment, both teams being forced to run it wide, and Matty Carroll, the Tigers, really starting to get away from the Cats towards the end of that term.
Yeah, they counter-punched really well. Broadbeach had a lot of territory dominance for a lot of that, but when Labrador got it, they seemed to use the wide open spaces of Subaru Oval a little bit better. And like you said, neither team wants to go through the middle for obvious reasons, but it seemed like Labrador were a bit better set up to switch that ball to the outer side and then attack from that side. And a couple of times it came to fruition. There, a goal to Mills, another one where he probably should have kicked a goal, but he sprayed it out on the full. But really even contest, and I think the 4-point margin at quarter time probably befits the quarter that we just watched. So it'll be interesting to see how the second quarter unfolds here in this big clash, Nick.
Yeah, we're just waiting to get underway. So it's a 4-point game, and Betts and Hollis, it's been a great duel so far, so we'll see how it goes now. Second term underway, they fly at it. Points there go to Betts on that occasion as the Cats get it going first. Maybe in the back, not called, play on, says the umpire, and it's wrapped up there just as we clear the mud patch. And we're going to have quite an early stoppage. We were just speaking in the break that we didn't see one until about the 12-minute mark in that first term, but a little bit more of a war of attrition we might see in this term, Matty Carroll.
Absolutely. Hollis and Betson just goes the roundhouse and gets some good meterage on it. But first to the footy there and chipping it out wide. Nicely done from Jared Graham. Nice spoil coming through from the Cats defence, and Ericsson gets his hands on it. He tried to go to the hot spot, it sprayed off the side a bit, and that's going to let the defenders get to the drop of the ball. He could mark this, couldn't quite get to it. Nice positioning again by Josh Deacon though in front of Cloak. And they've been doing pretty well down back, Young and Deacon in their key defensive posts. Haven't seen much of Fowler so far. Be interesting to see if the Cats can get him into the game. As Cloak goes up, Hollis just bundles him out of the way. Play on, says the umpire. Nice clean pick up there. Jackson Fisher on the left boot. That's gone sideways, not where he wanted it to go. On the fingertips there, not able to take it cleanly. Searle trying to tackle Jackson. And now the foot race. Bokey gets himself in front, curls it back and then lays it down nicely. Handball from Denji. Searle will go over the top. Fisher can run with his footy and should run with it. He does. On the right boot, that's a nice strike. Just curling left, unfortunately. First score of the second quarter. It's Jackson Fisher's second behind of the afternoon. And so it will be Jared Graham to bring it in for the Tigers.
Yeah, we saw that footy just swing late, and that was happening in the warm-up before the game, so that'll tell you where the wind is going. But, well, kicking into that breeze there, you just saw.
It's Hancock, I think.
They couldn't quite get it out of there, so they can reload again. Cloak's tracking back, and Fly's going to come again!
That's him again.
Oh, Shea! That's his third fly of the quarter, ball going forward. And just run over the line. The frequent flyer, I tell you what, check those points in now, Jack O'Shea.
Hopefully he gloves one at some point.
Oh, I hope so.
He did glove one in the first quarter, just couldn't hang on to it long enough. But tell you what, doesn't he have springs in his heels?
The highlight reel's incredible already.
Danger here.
Oh, yes, indeed. If we go back to the play, and he just shovels a hand pass out, spills through the hands of the Lions, couldn't get it away. Chip, right foot ball to the hot spot. Only Tigers at home and taken safely on the chest. And they can escape there. But Broadbeach doing all the attacking at the moment as ball comes out courtesy. And it falls in the lines of Benny Fagan. So Fagan, he's going to try and kick across the field. They want him to go. They want him to run the switch, and dangerous little ball, but it works nicely. They just track it back a little bit further, the Tigers.
Waves his traffic over. He may go chipping ball short. No, he's going to go longer out wide. Needs to get over Cloak's head. It doesn't. Result. That ball's falling short as they're trying to come out. So maybe the breeze is starting to have a bit of an impact towards the left of screen here as Cloak wanted to go long, wanted to go short. Now he backpedals and resets and restarts. And then not a bad kick to Ericsson in the end. Or standing all by himself in a patch of grass. Goes by hand to Fisher. Fisher picks it up. He wants to go by hand too. Does eventually. Dengies does have a super boot, but he's under extreme pressure. Makes pretty good contact, having to stand under this one. O'Shea comes in. No, it was Burton that time. Ericsson, goal. Yes! Blake Ericsson kicks his and Broadbeach's second of the afternoon. And the class rises there. Well done, Blake Ericsson.
Yeah, rode that beautifully, just front and centre. The bomb that came up from Dengies. Had snow on that one as it came down, but read that really well. And they're just starting to put a bit of pressure on. Maybe a little bit of a spray from Coach Zorko there at quarter time, saying make the most of your chances when you go forward. But we noticed that kick coming out of defence, it just keeps dropping short. And you saw Cloak pick it off there as Fowler. We just see come to the bench. So not able to escape out that far side of the ground like they want to. So might need to just try and work out how they escape defensive 50, the Tigers.
Yeah, Fowler didn't look to be running really freely there as Dempsey C came on to replace him. We'll watch that with interest. Maybe it's just a pre-arranged rotation there. Hopefully for the Cats he can come back on, but good start there from the Cats. Betson and Hollis in the ruck. Betson goes early, doesn't get anywhere near the footy, unfortunately. Hollis taps it down, tries to follow up his work. Ball's on the ground. Umpire wants this to come out somehow, any way possible, but it doesn't. I think he just didn't want to come back in and ball it back up in the middle, but he's going to have to. And you can see Tom Davidson there trying to wring the mud from his hands. We'll see if he gets his hands on it. He does. He's at the bottom of the pack again. They're just pinballing around. He just handballed that straight to Searle. Hollis goes down. Ball. Fisher tries to get a squirting kick out. Coming in hard there. There it is. Fisher. Oh, it just sticks in the mud. Look at it. Just
you can't see it.
No one can stand up in the middle here. This ball's going nowhere. At some point, putting his head down and trying to crash through. That was Shears, I think. Ball still hasn't really gone anywhere. There's a kick. We're out of the mud eventually. The ball is totally covered, however, and this will be one of those that slips or sticks. No, it slips, that one. Nicely done there. Oh, sells some candy, and suddenly it opens up in front of him. Although Dengies positions himself beautifully in front of Mills and takes a nice mark.
Yeah, well called there, Matty Cowell. They finally got that footy out of there. And Dengies just filling the hole in front of Wade Mills. So I think that'll be a warning. Do not try and go through the middle of the ground whatsoever as they kick really wide and kick finds its target. It looks like it's dropped on the chest of Ericsson. Out that far side of the ground now and trying to stay away from that centre. Going to be forced to kick long down the wing, but just stabs at it a little bit, but it pays off. Little chip pass there, but in fact that's out of bounds. Well, not on the forward, just got a hand to it, so we're going to have a boundary throw in. Right there on centre wing, the Cats, they're up by 4 points, 2-5-17. Labrador 2-1-13. 5.5 minutes gone, second term.
So, ball to be tossed back in. Centre wing, Subaru Oval on a Sunday afternoon. Big clash here down on the Gold Coast. Hollis and Betson. Betson gets rid of Hollis. Doesn't really tap it to anyone's advantage, and that allows Labrador to escape. I think that was Lakeman maybe that got a kick. It's very difficult.
Deliberate.
Cannot read his number. But pay deliberate.
Deliberate has been paid, yes, and I don't think we're going to be able to read numbers after half time. The Cats now trapped on the half-back flank, just have to go down that line. Big ball goes, falls to the back of the pack. Lyons is down there, but they read that well. Nicely done there by Hines. Little kick over the top. It's wobbly, doesn't quite find a target, so it's just bash back forward. Kick couldn't go anywhere. Now they've got a bit of a wrestle. Kwame Boki's found himself in a bit of space, and now he can use it. He looks for Cloak. Cloak holds front position. Couldn't bring it down. Picked up on the first bounce. Now they can work their way back through. Kick goes forward there by Fisher. Just down to the front of the pack. Gonna spell through. Gonna go through. Goal to the Cats. Nicholas Burton running into an open goal.
Really nicely done there from O'Shea. Got the handball to Fisher, and Fisher could have blazed away, but saw Burton out of the corner of his eye, just laid it into his path. Burton couldn't quite take the mark, but good enough. Got a pretty kind bounce and able to bang it through from close range. That's their third of the afternoon. 3-5-23 plays 2-1-13. Only played 7 minutes in this second quarter, but Broadbeach starting to get on top a little bit around the ground, force that ball forward. Labrador having real trouble getting it past half forward at the moment.
Yeah, I just noticed in that contest there where it was starting to ping around a little bit. Kwame Boki saw the opportunity. He was going to do nothing forward of the ball, so ran himself to the back of the contest, knowing that footy eventually had to come out that back side and was able to clean it up and just open up and just get it a little bit away. So it's always going to break down around there, but we saw Labrador do it in the first term. If you can swing it out wide, all of a sudden the game is going to open right up for either side. And he's getting a fair bit of spring. I'll tell you what is Betson. I don't know how he's flying in the mud, but he's doing it perfectly as the Tigers, well, I was going to say they've nearly got to go forward, but a throw has been picked out of that contest somehow, and it's going to go to Brandon Chadwick, who's in the worst position to take a kick. So he's just going to try and run it out. He does. Right foot ball going down to the hot spot again. Couldn't be pulled down there by Hines. Cloak's looking dangerous. Ball just doubles around a little bit. Hands to the back of the pack. Ball now to Blake Ericsson. Got two already. Swings it out wide. Going to look back towards the hot spot. Cloak going to fly from the back. Can he get there? Goes across with a big fist and sees it over the line for a boundary throw. And so another attacking opportunity for the Cats, and they're starting to look really dangerous.
They are. At the foot of the ball there was Ericsson. Got a nice handball out to Sorensen, who fed that ball in, and Cloak, recognising Dempsey C was being out bustled a little bit there, just came to ensure that there'd be a boundary throw in, not a mark to the Tigers. And so he'll go up in the ruck against Hollis. Pushes him straight in the back, and the umpire agrees with me. And Andy Hollis will take the relieving free kick deep in his back 50.
Set him up!
So, Hollis looking out.
Talk to him!
Doesn't have a lot to go to on that far side, to be fair. It's only Wade Mills or bust, really, and so that's the way that he goes. Wade Mills will fly. Wade Mills doesn't quite take the mark. Ball comes to ground. They do have the crummers, but it's just going to trickle out of bounds in front of Davidson.
DC!
It's out of the danger area for the moment for Labrador. They'd really love to be able to work it forward and try and spend some time in their forward half at least. They really can't get anywhere near it at the moment, Nick.
No, they can't. They were counter-attacking so well from this position in the first term, but Broadbeach, with sheer weight of numbers, have managed to just shut down the contest as the ball drops forward again. And at the fall of the ball, Blake Erickson, check his heat map this afternoon. He has been everywhere as the ball goes over the line.
No, Isaac Miller.
Hello, we've got something going on here.
Isaac Miller got collared. He's still on the ground, Isaac Miller. I'm not sure who the offender was, but Kwabi Boki's taken some offence. And tell you what, he's in a bit of strife, Miller. He's still laying prone on the ground. Ryan Dinges is waving the trainer over.
And they're coming in numbers now.
Well, the umpire wants to talk to him here too. Maybe being reported. I think it's Fagan. But as Miller got rid of the ball, it's gone with the elbow. The umpire said he'd been reported for an elbow.
Call him over now.
Yeah, he's just gestured that he lifted the forearm there. So forearm or elbow. He may have gone in the book here, Fagan, for that, but Miller's still on the ground. He's obviously not well. I thought initially it was just a late high tackle, but obviously a bit more in it. And real concern being showed here for Isaac Miller.
Yeah, he still hasn't gotten up, has he? So time off been called, and there's still a little bit of remonstration going on at the moment. The Cats not happy about this.
Plenty of chat going on between both camps, and the umpires are wanting the Broadbeach players to go away. The Broadbeach boys are wondering if that's worth 50 metres if they're potentially reported him. But
he's on his feet now, which is good. It's just doesn't quite know where he is. Time's been called back on now. So Cats can go forward. A little bit of unsettling play there. Cloak in the hot spot. Big fly comes from the back of the pack, but the fist comes through. Right foot ball out of the pack. This isn't bad. How's it going to drop?
Ooh, unlucky.
And taken on the line. Dane Watmuth does very well running back with the flight. So no score whatsoever after we saw a bit of high contact just earlier, which was just unsettled the play a little bit. They escape. Oh no. Oh no.
Out of bounds on the full.
I was going to say good positioning there by Jaden Young, but
Blake Erickson didn't realise that they were getting a free kick there, and actually he's going to get the free kick. But yeah, he went for the torpedo out of the. Oh, was touched over the line.
Oh,
apologies.
Ooh. Oh well. So still not out of danger yet, the Tigers, and now it feels just a little bit of tension, a little bit of heat is coming off now.
Doesn't look too bad.
Keep an eye on him there as Cloak can contest the ruck. Uses that body again, gets it onto that big chest of his. Hands over the top, Brandon Chadwick. Right foot ball. Can he swing it back?
It's two in a row for Chadwick. Yep. Two in a row marked on the line.
There's one wee big short there, I reckon. So marked on the line again by Jaden Young. Don't go the torp this time. He looks to go back in just to a half-back play, but not going anywhere. Taken uncontested there by Dempsey C. Coming to the side this week. And he just tries to open up the forward line. Cloak's track back now. Calling for the hands. He goes in right to the danger zone. Left foot ball. The fly's going to come from everywhere. Oh, that's four now. And he's slung to the ground as Benji Neal. And yep, there's sling tackle's been called and it might be on again here. Just got, nicely called, Matty Carroll. Benji Neal was just ragdolled to the ground. And, well, the heat is back on again. Just where the tension currently lies. So, regardless, it's a free kick to the Cats. Benji Neal will line up from directly in front and should have no trouble in putting this through. And I'd say they're unsettled now, the Tigers players. Could have done something with the momentum from the very unfortunate elbow, but the Cats are taking advantage of this sort of upset in play, and they run in to get around Benji Neal. And now they go out, they blow the lead out a little bit further, 4-5-23. They lead the Tigers 2-1-13. 13 minutes gone, second turn, Matty Carroll.
Yes, a little bit of undisciplined play creeping in from the Tigers here, and I'm sure you don't, if you're the coach of the Tigers, Lienbert, you don't mind physicality, but you don't want them to do it in a way that's going to give away free kicks, especially not 15 metres out directly in front of goal in a low-scoring game like this. Cost them 6 points, and they really need to regroup and settle here, and they're going to need to start. Nick Jackson's going into the middle here. Dempsey C's in again. The backup ruckman going to go head-to-head again in the bog. So, what can Labrador do? They really need to try and respond here. They're getting outplayed around the ground.
I think Reslaff needs to come up the ground a little bit, just make himself more of a target as the ball bumbles around again. Well, that's a nice little kick away. Here's a chance to get going. It's courtesy of Butterick. Gets it bouncing forward, and a free's been called for a hold, but it's going the Cats' way. No, pardon me. Umpire's just pointed the wrong way. So now, this is their chance. This is their opportunity. The lead comes from Mills. Looks like it's been ignored. It's going the other way. That man Retzlaff we just talked about has got a 3-on-1, but he was nudged out of the contest very cleverly, 3-on-1, and now they can escape. That was a dingy little ball. Doesn't quite work out well, but will it bounce up the right way for the Cats? Time will tell. Hands comes through, wrapped up in a tackle nicely. There was Newman. He wasn't going anywhere. Relief comes in from Jack O'Shea with the tackle, but we're going to have a ball up right there. Smack bang on the half-forward flank there for the Tigers. So they need to make the most out of this chance. As we said, undisciplined footy's been giving it away. Uses the body well, does Dempsey see. Nice little chip down the line. That's 15. That'll be called a mark if it's taken. It's not. Just runs his way through. Well done, Kai Shears. Had to fight hard. Oh, nearly called for a throw there, wasn't. But this is the Tigers' chance. Right football, courtesy of Jackson. Jackson spins it wide. They can get a hands back going if they escape. Can't. Lyons is down there and amongst it. Little hands through. He's picked the pocket there as Lakeman gets it going forward in the Mills direction. Can't quite pull it down. Can he get a second bite? Oh, just dived in with courage there to the Cats. Lyons can escape now. Hands coming through. Now a bit of a run. But there's only Tigers in the middle of the ground. We're on for another scrap if they can't be clean. Well done there. Dane Watmuth gets the footy going forward. Jaden Young out wide. But unfortunately chopped off there in front, and the Cats can settle down the play now as he rides in Johnny Ringo's style, and Searle, he's just there on the half-back flank and he can settle down the play.
Nicely done by Josh Searle. A couple of times Jai Lyons got in the hole as well. They've set up behind the ball pretty well. So he goes wider. This is Chadwick. Chadwick looks like he's got Denji short, doesn't use him. Still got Denji short all by himself. Still doesn't use him, goes longer than that. Nearly kicks it to the boundary umpire, but taken out wide there by the Cats. They've got a bit of space all of a sudden. The Tigers really struggling to shut them down here as Searle found a little patch of grass. He's going to come wider. They're looking for the switch. This ball's going to come to Hancock. Hancock's going to come wider to Arnold. Arnold's going to look up and he's got Lyons if he wants to go. He does. Almost another. I'll tell you what, he just sat it on the head of Ericsson and said catch that, but he couldn't. That's nicely taken by Ben Walker.
So Ben Walker just back of centre wing. Looks to go into the lead, coming up, but could not make good contact, but manages to get it back again. So Serendipitous gets another chance. Kicks it to the half-forward line. Two Cats fly. That's not good. There was no talk there. Hands goes back. Matthew Watmuth gets it going forward, just out in front of Retzlaff, and it spills over towards the club room. So attacking position now for Labrador. They trail by 16 points as we're probably at the halfway mark now of this second term, and they need to make the most of this chance, Matty Carroll.
First real attacking opportunity for the Tigers. And so let's see what they've got. Retzlaff to do the ruck, doesn't get near it. Betson does well with the body work. It's going to come down in front here. Oh, bustled out of it by Ericsson, doing nicely. He hasn't got the ball now. Play on, says the umpire. No, he didn't like how long that tackle held on. And so Blake Ericsson, bit of experience there. And he takes the free kick, given away by Watmuth. So Ericsson goes inboard, attacking kick, but nicely taken there. Opportunity for Rainsford Stone in today. Kicks wide, it hangs a little bit long for his liking. Denji's can't quite take the footy. Daniel crunched out of bounds. Good tackle. Nice work there from the Cats. I think that was potentially Nelson. Not entirely sure who the tackler was there. He's done quite well though. Really hit Matt Daniel hard. But they get another opportunity. Retzlaff doesn't get near this. Oh, they'll rethrow that one in. Umpire wants that recalled. And so Retzlaff needs to be onto it a little bit. Ball's been thrown in a bit shallow.
Catapult not quite working there.
Not quite. We'll bring it back in, however. Betson lurking behind. Retzlaff wants to jump at it. Retzlaff bodies him up. Betson does well. Ball comes to ground. Flying through there and crunched in a tackle. Good bit of play from both players. The umpire's all over this and he's just going to sting him for holding the ball well.
Sense of fear to the umpire. Love that.
Very harsh call for mine.
Hang on.
50 metres.
Yeah, right decision. Just wasn't letting him up. Just trying to get the play going.
Sorensen's going to take the free kick. Is this a double 50? It is.
Oh no!
100-metre penalty. Well, if he wasn't already upset, Coach Liam Burke will be ropeable with that. They've marched the footy all the way from full back to centre half forward, basically, and I think Sorensen's the man who's got the ball. I still don't know if he's close enough. Denji's is lurking next to him. Ooh, onto it is Matt Daniel. Doesn't want him to get the little handball. Benji Neal's.
Oh, he wanted it, didn't he, Benji?
Well, let's see what happens here. Oh, he goes for a short pass, really short.
Good sprint
there. That's Fisher. He does have a good leg on him, but this footy might be a little bit heavy at the moment. It's been tracking its way through the mud for the best part of 19 minutes already, but he is capable. Denji's gets around for a handball, not given. So So Jackson Fisher unleashes from 55, just skids as he kicks it, gets most of the journey, tapped over the back and out of bounds.
Yeah,
no score.
Not a bad result at all for the Cats there. They're starting to look really dangerous going forward there. You saw Fisher just presenting, but they had Cloak, they had Fowler pushing down that goal square, and you'd be so frustrated if you're coach Liam Burke. They had all the attacking position there, the Tigers, and now they could be made to pay as that man Hines manages to get a little tap down, still floating around, bodies fly everywhere, can't quite get a ball out. Hines is at the bottom of the pack. It's wrapped up.
Isaac Miller back on the ground, Nick. Just update there on the man who was helped off from the far side.
Oh, it's good to see.
Great to see.
Tap goes down. Right foot ball out of the pack. That man O'Shea puts it wide, very wide indeed, and it's out of bounds on the full. So the Tigers can make their escape here. As we said, they trail by 16 points. A little bit of ill discipline has cost them at the start of this quarter. So really need to get a couple back on the board early. Is there any chance to keep contesting? Going to be trapped down there, so we're waiting for the footy to come back. So just so far as we're looking at the goal kickers for the Cats this afternoon, 1 to Benji Neal, 2 to Blake Erickson and 1 to Burton, and for the Tigers it's been 1 to Mills and 1 to Retzlaff. So I'm imagining that's where they're going to come from this afternoon. So they're going to have to get their hands on the footy if they want some confidence, and that's not great. That is not a great kick, trying to get the footy going across the face of goals into a more attacking position, but Blake Erickson read that so well. He's got 2 this afternoon. And as we take a little bit closer to half-time, as we said, 16-point game, this could possibly blow out. So, Erickson, 2 goals. Very dangerous this afternoon. The perfect shot to ride this one in. The right footer starts it right, keeps it right. Really doesn't make the distance through for a minor score. So, his first behind of the afternoon at 2 goals 1. He goes to, but Broadbeach 4-6-30 in quite a muddy affair. The Tigers escape and they trail by 17 points.
Good kick to Daniel. Tyson Budrick breathes a sigh of relief after kicking that one straight to Erickson earlier on. Beautiful, or nearly taken. I thought he was going to glove that one. I went a little bit early with the call. Ball comes to ground, tackled nicely. Umpire might ball this one up. No, he's going to sting him for holding the ball again. Well, Tom Davidson.
He nearly slipped there, the umpire coming in with that slide.
He did. Tom Davidson trying to make the play and get stung. Oh, nicely done by Hines. Couldn't quite take the mark. Selling a bit of candy and dancing around there is Jaden Young. Still got the footy. Went right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot. Somehow found a target. It's paid and that'll be 50 metres. You do feel for the Broadbeach Cats there. It was one of those ones you're not sure if it's going to be paid or not. And if the umpire doesn't tell you clearly, you're almost required to make sure that that player can't play on with it. That's a terrible kick, unfortunately. And so Hancock just eats it up, and Erickson all on his own, not the man you want to leave by himself. Steps back inboard. Nice kick to Benji Neal. Benji Neal will wheel and go, and he does just that. Goes right, goes left. Let's fly from 48. It's not going to be a goal. It's going to be a behind for Benji Neal. They're starting to pepper the goals, Nick.
Yeah, absolutely they are. And Benji Neal, we've seen him do that a couple of times now this afternoon. He's just hanging around the centre of the ground. They've really got to cover him because he's looking dangerous when he goes forward. And speaking of dangerous, that kick, have a couple of heart palpitations there, but the Tigers, they can just be smart with this footy as it finds Jacob Kenny right there on the half-back flank, and no options down this wing, so they're forced to go back across the face of goal. Ball in the hands of the Tigers defenders, and maybe they can get out this way. You can't use the middle of the ground.
They've tried this a couple of times, haven't they? Haven't really got too far. Walker with the football now, and again Broadbeach really push across hard and trap him in. He might try and come back. Oh, they're really indecisive here, the Tigers. They haven't lost possession yet, but the net is closing in for Broadbeach, and that is a dangerous ball, and there it is. The net closes completely, and Chook Fowler, who we said earlier on has been very quiet this afternoon, well, he's given a gift. An absolute gift. 20 metres out, directly in front. And you could just see the Tigers really didn't want to bomb it long and high, but this is worst case scenario.
As he comes in, well, this is going to really hurt the Tigers. Fowler, 6 last week. And his first of the afternoon. Get around me, he says. And it's just starting to escape for the Tigers now. 5-7-37 the Cats. Labrador 2-1-13. And all the credit there, Matty Carroll, to the Broadbeach forwards. The way they, as you described it perfectly, the net just closed them down, and you know, some teams you can look confident as you move it around, but they just look panicked. They just could not see an option to get out anywhere. As we said, there's no corridor to use, so they have to push wide. The net closed in, and the mark of a good forward. He knew where that footy was going, Matty Fowler, and he gets his first for the afternoon.
Absolutely. Quality set up there from Broadbeach. And Labrador, as we know, when you want to switch it across, you want to be able to switch it and take off and go, but they haven't been able to do that, unfortunately. So the Broadbeach forwards and midfielders and even the defenders pressing right up the ground really gave Labrador nowhere to go. And it seemed a matter of time before they turned it over. And when they did, it was in the worst possible part of the ground. So they need a goal just to stem the bleeding a little bit. Dempsey C just drops straight into the mud. Ball goes to ground. They all pile in on top. The umpire will have to sort this one out. We'll have a secondary bounce. But yeah, at 24 points, doesn't seem like a big margin, but the way this game's being played, scoring is not happening at a rapid rate, and Labrador needs some sort of momentum going into half-time.
We said they counterpunched so well in that first term, but just unable to do it from around the contest. And, well, this could be an opportunity here as the umpire comes to clean it up a little bit and receives a little bit of treatment there, does Kai Shears.
He's not sure what he did there.
No, but they've got a man down. I don't know what's happened to him here, but maybe just copped a bit of a whack.
A little bit high, I think, was what the free kick was for. I think it's Budrick.
It is.
He doesn't quite seem too well at the moment. He's just tracking backwards. He wants to take his kick. If he can, that ball is just covered in mud, as is he.
Now, this is dangerous here because he's not getting up well. Hasn't given his footy off. That footy, as you said, is near indistinguishable from the rest of his Guernsey, so he needs to hit a pass right here. Slips a bit as he kicks, and that was the danger. That was always going to be the danger there. He needed someone running off him, and the Tigers players just didn't come from him. So you can see that the pressure's really on right now as Arnold goes towards the wing. Searle's going to fly from behind. Now that's a good mark. It's a really strong mark taken there by Dane Watmuth. So maybe you can just settle down the Tigers at the moment because they need to find an option. If you look down the field, Broadbeach press back so well. If you can keep that foot in front, maybe need to dive for it, gets it on the half volley. Now this is an opportunity, a little helicopter around the corner, diving marks taken, very well taken indeed. And now the Cats, they've turned it over and they can set themselves up well from here.
Let's see how attacking they go. No, he's just going to come long down the line. Oh, he's just screwballed that one up. They go, O'Shea again will jump. No good. We're going to keep calling it till he takes one. Bokey. Oh, something's going on here.
Hang on.
The umpire 100 metres away saw a dumping tackle. I don't think anyone's got any idea who's going to get the free kick, but Reece Coon said, yep, it's mine, and nobody disagrees with him, so he's going to get a kick. Reece Coon.
Notoriously clean Guernsey at the moment, Reece Coon. Have a roll around at half-time if you have to. Bombs it down the line. 5 Cats in that contest, and they just block Retzlaff's run. That's what, look at them. They are attacking from everywhere. They're not letting that footy go. And now they can escape for the middle of the ground. Benji Neal in a bit of a mismatch against Wade Mills. Now they've got the numbers, the Tigers. Mills, he can be devastating if he wants to. Just keeps it a little bit too low as body's flying into that secondary mud patch there. Still got it going forward. A whistle's been called and umpire, well, it came out just at the wrong time.
He was on the wrong side there, wasn't he?
Speed of light versus speed of sound there, unfortunately, for the umpire. Well, actually, for both teams. He balls it up there, just 48 metres out from the Tigers' goal. Wrapped up in the tackle. Handball comes out to the far side of the contest. First to the footy there with Burton.
Too high again.
So just a little, they're desperate here, the Tigers, but they're getting a little bit ill-disciplined now. So Burton's just going to take his time here as we've seen nearly 27.5 minutes played. It's a 24-point game and they're in no hurry at the moment. The Cats, they can just work this footy around as Burton gets his own footy back there, right across the line. Kicks now to full back line and they can open this up if they want to. He just looks wide. Harrison Arnold says, no, go further down the line, mate. No, don't kick it to me. Fine, kick it to me if you have to. Arnold gets it in the back pocket. Now, wanting that footy is Ryan Dengies. But he goes short. Kwabi Boki's got some space. And he can run this up if he wants to, chooses to. Now looks in the Dengies direction, who, is a fly from O'Shea. Not his biggest of the afternoon, but his 6th. As the ball's still going forward, kicks a 2-on-1. Cloak is bearing down, and that's a dangerous position to be in. And just intimidated that football over the contest, over the line there. And tell you what, I feel for Dane Watmuth because he knew that Cloak was bearing down on him. And the big bear himself, Cloak, he can go forward, he can attack from here. He's going to bomb it long. No, in fact, goes inboard, and that's smart. If they can get another footy going across the line, they're in a very attacking position, the Cats, but just didn't have the time to do it. So it's Betson, who's rucked incredibly well this afternoon, given all the mud in the centre square, and Cloak now pushes right back to centre wing. The Tigers are shutting down the hole now. They're forced to go. In fact, he's going to go back to Kwabi Boki, and Boki's going to take it back with his centre wing.
Just shutting this down at the moment, the Cats. Not really interested in going forward at the moment. Getting plenty of instructions from the coach's box. Cloak his third touch in the past minute, just wanting to slow everything down. Now he's going to go the big switch.
Far side of the ground.
Big Cloak takes a bounce, goes long and wide. That's a nice kick, and so they can look to attack the far side. Not a great kick there, but enough time. Retzlaff dumps him after he got rid of it. Could have been a free kick. Play on says the umpire lines. Hasn't got the footy. Gets a free kick. Dry lines. Plays on now while they weren't watching. Slack marking from the Labrador Tigers, and he's found a target. Chook Fowler. And again, we said earlier on that Retzlaff was a man for the occasion. Well, Matty Fowler can definitely go back and slot this one.
They worked that footy from the Cloak free kick down on the commentary side forward flank. They've nearly done a full lap of the ground to work that footy all the way around to Fowler. So just catching the tired legs of the Tigers there. So very smart play there by Cloak. Just instrumented that whole piece, that whole passage, and now Fowler has a chance. He's going to kick from right there on 50. Goes with the right foot ball. It's not looking too bad. He's got it. Tell you what, they like it. It hung in the air for a bit. That's through for a major score, and Fowler, well, as I said, kicked 6 last week. That's his second now for the afternoon, and the Cats go further ahead as we close in on half-time.
Well, the lead's getting out to dangerous proportions now for Labrador. We said earlier they needed a goal to stem the bleeding. At least they'd stopped Broadbeach for a little while, but that hurts. As you said, we've ticked over 30 minutes now in the last quarter, and that leads out to a 5-goal margin. And on a heavy deck, well, the middle's heavy anyway, and that ball is in various states of disarray depending on how recently it's been in the mud pit. Scoring's been pretty difficult, and they don't look likely when they're going forward at the moment, the Tigers, whereas Broadbeach are attacking with some intent, and their players are really pushing hard to space. So Coach Bo Zorko asked for a bit of a lift at quarter time and to stop bombing the ball in, and you'd have to say he'd be pretty happy. Everyone's happy there. The ball doesn't find the mud at all. Burton out in front. Often beats his man off the line there, although he handballs it straight up, and the Tigers will be able to go forward through Clements. Nice mark.
Strong mark.
I think that's Arnold. He just chips wide, almost too wide for Miller. Miller's going to pick it up. He's going to have a couple of seconds to dispose. Just wheels on the left. Nice touch. Blake Erickson goes by hand to Miller. Does look a likely type, Miller. Goes on the right boot, needs this to clear, but it doesn't. Goes to Jared Mills, and they'll look to attack.
This is hopefully a chance, just peg one back before half-time, as the umpire says, move it on now. So Jared Mills, right foot ball towards the wing, but kicks straight in the hands, and that was a late fist that came through. That should be 50. And he's been decked now. Cops a bit of treatment.
This was Isaac Miller again, the boy that was down on the far side who caught one high, and now he's caught one in the back of the head, but it's a 50-metre penalty for him. He's up. He's all right, but I think it was Arnold that came in, was it, or Rainsford Stone? No, I think it was Arnold that came in and knocked him over initially.
I might try and give it a little bit of benefit of the doubt, because it just seemed to drop short. He was coming in the right way with the fist, but unfortunately just carried it through into the back of his head. Well, I was going to say, it's the second time he's caught one now. Right there in the noggin, Isaac Miller. So I'll just get a good look at him at half-time, because it's 2 pretty solid head knocks he's taken. So it'll be 50 metres, and he's going to kick from about 35 slight angle, and no Tiger stands the mark. So I reckon they're pretty cooked for half-time here, the Tigers, and this could really rub it in. It's a 30-point game, as we said. It was in danger of blowing out, and more ill-disciplined play from Labrador. This Gold Coast derby is starting to hurt them as clouds start to form over the eastern end of the ground. So Isaac Miller, he'll kick on half-time, we reckon. Right foot ball, and they'll get around him. Yes, they do. Come on, he says. It's a 36-point game as Isaac Miller sends one straight through the middle, and the Cats will be pretty happy with themselves going into the main break, Matty Carroll.
Plenty of chatter from the Broadbeach boys too. Blake Erickson was very pointed in his chat after that, getting plenty of talk on the way past as the Cats, they walk off, or they run off with a spring in their step, and like you said, they turn 36 points in front. 7 goals, 7-49. Labrador 2 goals, 1-13. Multiple goal scorers for the Cats. Erickson's got 2. Matty Fowler got 2 in that quarter. Whereas over for Labrador, it's a pretty lonely scoring column. Wade Mills got 1. Retzlaff got 1. They really didn't score much in that second quarter at all.
So a lot of work to be done by the Tigers. I think Liam Burke's going to have some very choice words for his charges as they go in there at the main break. It is a 36-point game down here at Subaru Oval. Round 13, we're smack bang in the middle of the season. A lot of meaning in this clash for both sides, but right now it's the Cats sitting pretty at 7-7-49, the Tigers 2-1-13. We'll be back in about 10 minutes time for a big second half down here at Subaru Oval. Sunday afternoon, QAFL action down here at Subaru Oval, round 13, and all the traffic going Broadbeach's way. Second position on offer for the Cats if they can get it done this afternoon. Labrador did not score in that second term, and they're going to need a big second half if they want to stay in touch with the top 5, Matty Carroll.
Yeah, huge quarter there from Broadbeach. Banged on 6 goals for 40 to zip. Not a score for Labrador in that second quarter, and so you just wonder whether they'll throw the magnets around a little bit. Just having a look around, can't see too many obvious differences at the moment. Maybe they'll just back themselves in to bring some sort of response, but they definitely need to do something because they want to keep touch with the 5 and give themselves an opportunity to play finals football as Hollis and Betson go up. Hollis wins it down on the skates. There they go. Ericsson's been clean all afternoon. Can't take that one cleanly. Tracks it forwards, just pinballing around in there. Comes back to the Cats. Sorensen on the left boot. Tracking out wide is Burton. He'll win the race here. He's only got Hollis for company. He might take him on. He does just that. Steps inside. And Matt Daniels going back with the fly. Couldn't quite take it. That was courage personified, but he couldn't quite impact the contest as much as he would want. Hines was coming the other way. Ball still banging around there. Budrick bangs on the left boot. Coming through hard there is Dengies. And this is just going to land fortuitously with Hines. So he's going to wheel around on that left boot. He goes early. Chook Fowler's made a nice move, and that is a good kick to him. Fowler couldn't quite take the mark. Comes back to him, goes to Cloak by hand. Cloak tries to struggle to tackle, throws on the left boot. Burton just minding his business on the forward flank. Squirts out to him. Fisher's going to fly. Couldn't take the mark. Good spoil from the Tigers. Still banging around. Benji Neal. They just look dangerous everywhere. Fisher curls it around the corner, and they desperately bang it over for a rush behind.
Yeah, Dane Watmouth there in the double fist. But that was all the Cats. Straight away, they took control from the moment that ball went up in the centre. And now they hit the half century, 7-8-50, plays the Tigers 2-1-13 as the Tigers try to go out wide. There's no options out that way. Footy turned over. This one's in the hands of Hines. He's going to go in with the left. Little chip, nicely done. Ball falls to the bottom of the pack. Couldn't be picked up clean. Kick away comes from Walker. And, well, he manages to find a target there. Didn't seem all that deliberate, but it's worked. The Tigers haven't really worked out too well when they've gone long down the line. They're going to have to try that option anyway. So, goes just short of centre wing, and that's a good pluck. He's done that well. And the umpire says he's held the mark as the rain is just on the verge of coming down. A little bit of a smattering around. It's 37 points here at Subaru Oval. And as we've said time and time again, that corridor is completely inaccessible. As Jaden Young takes the footy. Now he's going to have to go a big switch, and if it works, it might pay off. Hits the target now. He's coming late there. It's got to be 50. And that is.
That was silly from O'Shea.
Yeah, didn't need to do that. I could see that the Tigers were about to escape. We looked to our left of screen there, and Jared Graham was in a paddock at half forward. So this is their chance. They need to grab some ascendancy. Ball in the hands of Deacon. He's played well in defence this afternoon. He's had it up against him. Looks for Mills. Mills can't get it. It falls to the front of the pack, and the Cats are everywhere. But it's been chopped off nicely. Ball into the hands there of Anderson. Hands on the top. Mills gets it back. Wrapped up in a tackle. Not in the back call, and the umpire says, I'll take that. Thank you very much. And we've got a ball up at 35 metres out from the Labrador goal.
Broadbeach flooding back nicely there from that 50-metre penalty. Mills competed with about 4 Cats, and there are another 2 or 3 at the foot of the contest. So they're really helping their defenders out today as they get an opportunity here. The Tigers. Retzlaff wants holding the man, tracking the ball across, not able to take it. This is O'Shea, the man that gave away the 50. Leaves it for Searle. Searle just swivels the hips, sees off a would-be tackler, a nice little chip to O'Shea. O'Shea will look up, he might go short to Arnold, ignores that one, comes back into Searle. Nicely done. They've worked the angles nicely on the 45s. He goes backwards and they'll look out the other side. So, Stone goes long, nice kick, lines in the hands. Thought about taking off straight away, now he's got his runner out wide. He takes it now as Ericsson. He'll go by hand to Betson. Betson tries to take a bounce. It comes back to him on the second effort. Misses the target with Fowler. Didn't really get low enough there, unfortunately, and Daniel's able to clean it up, and he just hacks the ball forward, but Dengies is standing all on his own.
Yeah, and he takes it cleanly on the chest, does it, Ryan Dengies. Camped under the high ball and did that nicely, so they can just chip it forward again, and that's how they've been just breaking their way in. As I said, can't use the corridor, so good, smart ball movement just like that, and finds Shears too far out to score. Look down towards the goal square. Fowler starts the lead. He's coming out to the hot spot. It's going more towards the pocket now, and that's just going to roll over the boundary line For a throw-in, about 20 metres out from the Cats' goals, but they just chipped their way inside the forward 50. As you spoke about earlier, very deliberate with their 45s, and that's how they've cracked the Tigers open all afternoon, Matty Carroll.
They have. They've really pushed hard to space, and their ball use has been pretty good in the conditions, you'd have to say, as the drizzle starts to get a bit heavier. Cloak tries to use his body. Hollis having none of it, just taps it down in front. Tigers set upon by defenders, but they work it nicely by hand. And able to escape is Graham. Graham comes in short. That's a nice kick. This is Clements. And Clements is going to look up. Mills makes a move inboard. Pretty attacking kick that would be. He goes a bit longer and wider. Good fly. 3 Cats defenders again, but at the foot of the ball being retarded there, but no free kick. Play on, says the umpire. Tackled and just dropped the footy down. Umpire was very forgiving. Dumped after he kicked it. Umpire lets that one go. Shears gets into the back of his opponent. No free kick paid. Cloak just hacks it forward. O'Shea. Can he take it cleanly? He does. Gives a handball back to Cloak. He'll give it back to O'Shea, who gives it over to Lyons. He is a goal kicker, but he doesn't have a shot there. And dropping the mark, unfortunately. And they're going to have to work it out by hand again. Graham just kicks a little helicopter out wide. It's going to be coming back. Ericsson, probably the man you want putting the ball inside your forward 50. Dengies wants it at about 50. Now he backs off a little bit. Good lead from Burton. He's sort of standing by himself. He doesn't go there. He comes wider. Not sure who. Oh, yeah, he's coming to Hines, but cutting it off nicely. Good job, Nick Jackson.
Yeah, Nick Jackson running back with the flight there. New foul leading towards him. He's had to take that. A bit of courage shown. Finds a way to Jaden Young. Young just right there on the 50-metre line. Wobbly kick looking for Mills, who holds front spot. Falls at the crucial moment. And it's taken by the youngster. Nelson Sorensen gets it going forward. Hines couldn't quite hold on to it. And a man comes straight off the bench there, but just goes a little bit short of the option. Michael Lakeman. Lakeman's run that over the line there. Now the umpire definitely saw that go over the line, but just didn't get the whistle up in time. Well, it works out well for the Cats anyway, because now it's in the hands of Arnold. Arnold going forward. Couldn't quite get it. Got some treatment there to Blake Ericsson. As it spills around, manages to get the footy back. They're tracking well, the Cats. Looks back inboard. Finds Miller. Miller on the left. Lead comes out there from Fowler. Couldn't be taken. Nice defensive work there by Jacob Kenny. He worked hard there. Lyons is diddling around for it. Spills out the back. O'Shea's around the contest. He can be dangerous. Gets it back. They're going in again. Another opportunity and just worked his man really well. Hines just couldn't get the front position there, and now it's turned over. But the Tigers, they can escape if they're clean. The Mills lead comes, but will it get there in time? Has to be strong. Mills takes it well. Now he can roll on. Gets the hands going away. Now they're off. Nick Jackson, hands back through the middle. Now they can run it towards the corridor, the Tigers. Walker goes back inboard. Doesn't quite find the target. You cannot differentiate who his man was. His jersey is so dark at the moment. It's turned over, and now the ball falls to Lyons on the far wing.
Well called, Nick. Play on, says the umpire. Benji Neal grabs it. He's got a fair bit of time. Daniel just scoots past him. Chook Fowler can't take it below his knees again, and it's just going to trickle out of bounds. But the Tigers had an opportunity there, but when they looked up and they missed Retzlaff, there was mostly Broadbeach jumpers around. There was Dyson Budrick just kind of hiding in amongst the Cats there with his dirty white Labrador jumper, but just not able to find that target, which would then allow them to go inside 50, unfortunately. And the Cats, they're really getting up and back quite well at the moment. They seem to have more numbers at every contest, and that just speaks of hard work. As Jackson Fisher standing out the back, shepherded through, that's a goal. Jackson Fisher. That's his first of the afternoon. He's had a couple of goes at it. He's kicked a couple of behinds. Good shepherd laid by Matty Fowler there. The Labrador Tigers thought maybe it was a free kick, but not paid by the umpire. And it bounces through, and Broadbeach go on their merry way. They move to 8-8-50. Labrador 2-1-13.
Yeah, the 14th goal of the season there from Jackson Fisher, and very unselfish right there on the goal line from Chook Fowler. Just wrestled his man legally and just allowed that to dribble through. But look, I didn't mind the way the Tigers tried to bring the ball back through the corridor towards a true centre-half forward position. As you said, unfortunately chopped off and couldn't quite hit the target, but at least they're trying something new, and maybe we can see a little bit more of that. But the Cats, as you said, the weight of numbers that they seem to have at every contest is just suffocating the Tigers no matter where they go. So it's 8 goals, 8-56. The Tigers 2-1-13. Now we might have a warning here. The umpires are just conferring at the moment. And it should be a warning.
Yeah, it is a warning.
It's a warning
against Labrador.
Yeah, it seems to be. So just count that down. That's their warning. I don't know where the man was at the moment, but he's going to be in the wrong position as the ball goes up in the middle. has some serious springs. Dempsey Shea gets a tap down, and we've got another mud wrestle going on, and the ball's going to be thrown up right in the middle of that centre wicket. I reckon you'd probably, what do you reckon, Matty Carroll, have a bat on that one?
Geez, I don't know. I think we'll just go inside and have a drink probably rather than play cricket on this. Here we go. Ball comes out. Budrick taken high, gets a free kick. Doing well. This footy's going to be quite muddy though, and he's going to be in the slippery part of the ground. There is a little bit of grass for him to work with, however. So Budrick, the drizzle continues to fall. Makes decent contact. Dempsey C standing under it, uncontested in the end. And story of the day really, Broadbeach just getting numbers back and filling the holes nicely. So a nice chipping ball there, and they'll work their way wide. This is Stone. Stone looks up. He's got Bokey wide, doesn't go to him. In 2 or 3 minds, little chipping ball to Sorensen. Good mark taken. He'll look up the ground. There's a huge pack forming on the wing here. Goes in shorter though, and they've done this well all day. Nicely done there. That's a good job. Chipping in from Newman. Newman comes wider, not taken by Shears, but he can take off. Good shepherd from Searle. Shears goes to Cloak. That's a good kick too. Or Cloak was the only man that had any chance of marking it. Couldn't quite stick it. Bit of a mud patch there. You just saw it kick up as the Tigers come away. No damage done though, and they'll swing it out wide here. This is Fraser. Fraser looks back towards the middle. It's a dangerous kick, Dempsey C. Oh, he could have just trotted on, but he wants to go back and have his set shot. I tell you what, if he had looked up, he had, well, not really green grass at this end, but there wasn't really anyone in front of him. He could have just kept going with it, but I guess safety first. Goes back. He's going to back his set shot prowess.
Yeah, not bad at all from Dempsey C there. And as you said, he had an absolute corridor just to run straight into, but good on him back in the side this week. And, well, if he puts this one through, it's going to blow out a 49-point game, and should all but cook the Tigers very early on in this third term. So here he is, Luke Dempsey C, rocking the man bun. He comes in, left foot ball, 35 metres out. It's swinging, it's swinging, it's swinging, and maybe he should have just run straight into those open goals through for a minor score. Broadbeach 8-9-57, Labrador 2-1-13, nearly 11.5 minutes gone at third term. Matty Carroll.
Dempsey C, I think he's been in the team for a few weeks now actually. Not one of the inclusions this week, but he earned his way in to bolster the big man stocks, and we've found no reason to put him back down to the reserves. And the way he's playing today, I don't think he'll go back down there either next week, as Labrador again missed the target unfortunately, and the ball just tracks out to the centre wing position, right in front of the scoreboard there at Subaru Oval. Drizzle's just receded a little bit here. Conditions aren't too bad at this stage, so we hope that it'll stay like this for the rest of the afternoon. Dempsey C in the ruck here against Hollis. Hollis, I tell you what, he ran right in front, and the ball just got hoiked over the top of both of them, and he tracks back and does the roving Dempsey C. He goes to ground. Hollis stands over the top, and they'll have another stoppage. We've tracked it into the centre square, but we are in a grassy section of the centre square. We're not in the mud pit at the moment. Dempsey C almost could have given away a free kick. Oh, Searle just grabs hold of one arm, pins it, and the umpire very forgiving of the Tiger there. Some suggestion he may have been being held onto before he took possession. That was Davidson, but nothing doing. So we'll ball it up again, same spot. Hollis and Dempsey C, give that one to Hollis. Nice tap down, they'll go forward, the Tigers. Bit of space in their forward line for the first time in a long time, but getting back nicely is Newman, and Newman takes a good mark, comes out to Lyons, who's spread beautifully. Should go inboard to Dengies. He does, but he misses the target. Budrick misses the ball though. Here comes Newman. Newman gets a handball to Dempsey C. He just took too long, big Dempsey C, and the umpire says holding the ball. Yeah, great chase down there. Just got caught unawares there to Dempsey C and the Tigers. This could be an opportunity. If he gets the hands back on the inside, it's there, but cleverly held on the mark. Benji Neal did everything he could not to give away the 50 there. Ball comes over the top. They've got numbers though, the Cats. Nicely done by Searle. Gets a little tap away. Is ridden into the ground. Wrapped up in a tackle there by Wade Mills. And the Tigers lock it up in their forward 50. It's a 44-point game at the moment. And as we just saw the last forward 50 entries, same story as we've already spoken about, trying to go back in towards the middle, but not really having the target there. Being a bit flat-footed has Wade Mills, and he goes to take the man on. He should be gone holding the ball, and he is. He got the Duke up, tried to fend it away, but he ran straight into two Tigers. And now an opportunity to register on the scoreboard for the Tigers. And it's been a long time coming. They didn't score there in that whole second term. And well, the footy now in the hands of Sam Walker. He's got a leg about him, Wes Walker.
He's going to be kicking from, I'd say, probably right on 50 now. As we said, a bit of a breeze around. He's kicking from directly in front is Sam Walker. So this could just help bring a bit of a smile to the Tigers players and fans. And, well, he hasn't hit that very well, and it's, in fact, dropped. They made the distance, unfortunately, because it's over for out of bounds on the full. So still having trouble the scorers since the first quarter, the Tigers. The score remains 8-9-57 Broadbeach Labrador 2-1-13, 14 and a half minutes gone. Oh no, well, hang on. Spilled it through his hands as Searle, but manages to get the hand pass away before the handover. Great tackle. Oh, I was going to say it was a great tackle on Blake Erickson, but the hand has gone over the shoulder and he's just managed to duck that one down nicely with the muddy conditions this afternoon, and they'll look to go back through the middle of the ground, makes his man work for a little bit. Joel Newman's good enough to take care of it though, swings it out wide. Ben Hancock chips the middle of the ground. This could be dangerous, but well taken indeed, and now they're off and running the Cats. Isaac Miller, right football, nicely taken, very done, well done indeed. Nelson Sorensen has just held up a bit on the mark. He's got options. He's going to go look into the mud patch because he sees Searle appearing out of there. And Kwame Boki's open on the wing if he wants him. Gets the ball to him now. Boki with some room to move. Gets on the left foot, looking for the lead from Fowler. Got him. Got him right there. He'll kick from about 48 metres out, and that was a little bit too easy for the Cats, Matty Carroll.
Great play from Broadbeach. Really clean skills, executed them well, hit their targets, weren't afraid to cut it back through the middle, and the game opened up, and Matt Fowler's eyes lit up as soon as Boki got the ball, and it was a lovely pass right out in front of him, able to take it nice and softly in the hands, and Matty Fowler will go back, lean back on this one, and lean back he did, and tugged it left, unfortunately. First behind of the day for Chook Fowler. But at 15, nearly 16 minutes gone in this second quarter, Labrador making no headway whatsoever into this lead, and Broadbeach, they look the better team, Nick.
Yeah, they do, and they're forced to send it wide again. The lead came out there from Deakin, but was ignored. Probably the most dangerous lead that came through there, so they're forced to go to the old stomping ground out towards the far flank. And there's a bit of a scrap on, but it's working out okay for the Tigers if they can be clean with it. They are. Ball drops now to the hands of Robbie Clements. Clements gets it going. Boki running back with a fist and sees it over the line. Very well done, Kwabi Boki. Wade Mills was leading up the ground, but flew back in time, perfect timing, sent it over the boundary, and we have a boundary throw at about 80 metres out from the Tigers' goal.
Great defensive running there from Kwabi Boki. They were done, they were gone out the back there, Labrador, and he just refused to give up on it. Used that athleticism that we know he possesses and made the defensive effort, and the coaching box really happy with his efforts there. Labrador trying to duck under the tackle there was Davidson, unable to do so, trying to get a kick at ball. Lakeman. Ball just tracks out of bounds. There was a little bit happening, but the umpire had a good look at it and said, no, nothing doing. We'll throw that one in. So, Labrador trying to get something happening. If they can get a quick ball in, they'll get some one-on-ones in their forward 50, which has been a bit of a problem for them, but they do need to win this stoppage somewhat cleanly. And then, crunch they go. Neil goes down hard. Good contest there between both players, and it goes back out of bounds again. So, Broadbeach not dropping a number back here, backing themselves in at the contest.
Well, I've just seen we get those numbers down there, and every time there has been some sort of stoppage, they seem to outnumber them 2-1. So credit to the players closing into the contest. So as it spills down towards, they managed to get it out. The Tigers good with the hands through to Retzlaff, who has to do some work down there. Bombs it long with a helicopter kick, and just a big fist sends it a few metres back. That was Newman. And, well, dangerous attacking position here for the Tigers, but they haven't been strong around the stoppages, especially around the forward line. So Wade Mills will do the ruck work here, it looks like, but I just don't know where the goal's going to come from. Only 2 goals this afternoon, the Tigers, and it's courtesy of that man Mills and Bryce Retzlaff. So, going to need to find an option, but as we said, Broadbeach so good around the contest. They're really just shutting the ball down. So Mills manages, he worked himself to the back spot there. So wrapped up immediately as soon as he got it was Michael Lakeman, and the umpire, that is umpire Luca Bassoni, who's going to say, I'll have that, thank you. And the ball goes up again, and Wade Mills getting a bit frustrated, but works his way through. But Erickson's so good this afternoon. Manages to get that ball out, not able to be cut off in time there by Nick Jackson. And the ball spills over the line on the half-back flank for the Cats.
Not much happening for the Tigers up forward, unfortunately. Betson doing well in the ruck there. And he'll go up again here against Jackson. Hollis standing on the bench in front of us waiting to get back on, but the ball's stuck on the outer side and he's stuck on the bench, unfortunately. So, Jackson trying to do his best in the meantime. Retzlaff, they really need two of them because he wants to be kicking it to himself. Does Mills get pushed in the back? Play on, says the umpire. Dengies and Daniel. Dengies does well, stands up in the tackle. Daniel could be first back on this. No, it goes out of bounds and the umpire says throw it in. Retzlaff is playing almost at centre-half back at the moment. He's about 70, 80 metres from goal here, and as I said, really you'd like him to be a target to kick to in the forward 50, but unfortunately they can't have him everywhere. So, Mills and Betson again. Mills gets to the back this time. He's a bit inconsistent in the depth of these boundary throw-ins, making it difficult for the ruckman. Here's Retzlaff. He does push forward here. He lays a shepherd through, but nobody goes to collect the footy. Jackson wasn't aware he was doing that. Fisher now, back pedals, just hacked out there by Nelson, gets a bit of a spiralling punt. Cloak, good spoil there, comes through, good set of hands. O'Shea couldn't quite get that further handball. Shears taps it on, he might get his own footy. No, he lays a shepherd. Cloak comes through and picks it up cleanly. Needs a runner, finds a runner, although he's in trouble. Shears taps it over the back. Nicely picked up eventually by the Tigers. Good handball through, they've got a chance to escape. He gives it straight up to Searle. He could have given the handball, but he goes longer. Fowler's all on his own. Well, you feel for Jaden Young there because the Tigers looked like they were going to win it and he was almost starting to spread up as an option for a switch kick, and then suddenly they handballed it straight to Josh Searle, who turned around and saw Fowler all on his own. It looks like he's going to curl this one around. He does. Plays on, curls it around. No one in the goal square. Doesn't matter. He's missed anyway. Matt Fowler kicks his second behind of the afternoon. We've played 20 minutes. Score is 8-11. 59 to 2-1-13.
Yeah, a little bit troubling to see that there's no one waiting in the square there. He didn't look like for a second that he was going to pass that one off Fowler, so he's obviously going to have the shot and run around on the right. But to not see a single Tigers player down there on the last line of defence is concerning.
Dear.
And speaking of concerning, that ball has just gone straight over the boundary line, and well, under the new rules, that's not going to be a free kick to the Cats. That's just a regular boundary throw-in. So another attacking position here, and well, the Tigers look like they're on their last legs at the moment. They just seem to be out of options.
Yeah, this could be a death knell right here if it hasn't already been rung. Cloak tapping forward. Beautiful take from Ericsson. Handball at the back. What about the setup from Broadbeach? Benji Neal, can he finish it? No, he can't. That was quality bit of forward stoppage work. Unlucky there for Benji Neal. Tried to go the banana.
Didn't really make the contact over the top. Had a bit of a knuckleball about it, that one. The old dead ball. Just wobbled through the air. So they go to 8-12-60 now, the Cats. The Tigers 2-1-13. And, well, might be forced to try something new here. It goes at the other side of the ground. Didn't work out last time, but it's been collected afterwards. So, well, that'll work. And now the Tigers, well, they take the ball in the half-back line. It's Tommy Davidson. 7 goals for the year, Tom Davidson. So, finding himself a little bit further down the ground. As speaking of, Mills has had to push all the way down to the half-back line, and well, they're just going to set up again here. The Cats, Searle, all the time in the world, turns back on the inside, hands through that, straight through the middle. Couldn't be clean with it, just barreling his way through the contest. Cloak's down there too. He's burrowing like a wombat to try and get that footy through. No can do, and we have got another stoppage right here on centre wing in front of the commentary box. It is a 47-point ball game here. As we spoke about during the half-time break, the Cats, they can move up to second position with a win this afternoon. Superior percentage to Morningside. Thank you for that, Matty Carroll.
Yes, we don't want to undersell them. Second position, of course, gets you a home final. At the moment, Palm Beach sitting pretty on top of the ladder, undefeated at this stage. They play Labrador next week, do Palm Beach, so be a tough ask there. Nice kick from Retzlaff to Hollis, but yeah, that's next on the agenda for the Labrador Tigers. A match against the back-to-back reigning premiers and currently undefeated. Nice mark through the middle here for Chadwick. Been pretty quiet, Chadwick. Usually one of their prime movers. Hasn't really needed to inject himself too often this afternoon. So Lions tapping it forward, being harassed and doing nicely there. That was well done by Matt Fraser. Although he may have turned it over, he tries to jump and he can't get anywhere near it, and Hancock still takes the mark. Yeah, PVC next for Labrador. Broadbeach, you got Wilston Grange. Oh,
He got a bit of treatment afterwards as well.
thankfully both players okay there. That could have been a bit awkward, couldn't it?
I've had a good run. Had to buy last week, the Tigers, but won the last 3 on the trot, so carrying themselves pretty well. And Broadbeach just really seem to be hitting their stride at the right time of the season. And as you said, he's been copped that afterwards, and that was sloppy. It was really sloppy afterwards, and Brandon Chadwick just got cleaned up. So, footy's going to be the free kick's going to be paid downfield.
They've been red hot on that all day, haven't they?
They're good on them.
They haven't liked any of the late treatment. That one wasn't too late, really, but yeah, given what we've seen today, no surprises to see the umpire blow that one up. And this is Jake Hines, I believe, Nick.
Yeah, it is. As we said, 5 goals last time these two sides met. Very dangerous, just coming off a half-forward flank. He's going to be kicking from a long way out. These posts open up a little bit when you kick from this side. And he's got onto it. Oh, I'll tell you what, that footy was still rising. He's hit the post about halfway up. So he hits the scoreboard for the first time this afternoon, does Hines. Pardon me, it's his second behind for this afternoon. And they go to 8-13-61 Broadbeach. Labrador still yet to score since the first term, 2-1-13.
They've been Matty Fowler, actually. They look so similar out there. I've just seen him trotting back towards the goal square, and I'm pretty sure it was Matty Fowler. He's going to get involved here again. Oh, it doesn't get to him, but it's going to be a free kick. Kai Shears is going to get one directly in front. And yeah, I think Matty Fowler's the right footer, and Jake Hines might be a left footer.
Right, Jake Hines is a left footer. It's just that man bun. Tell you what, they've got to organise that at the start of the season. You get one different hairstyle per player. See, Kwame Boki's got the monopoly on the flat top. No one else can pull that off.
No one challenging
no
him
one's
for
challenging
that
him
title.
on that. No, absolutely not. So now it's going to be Shears. Just copped it a bit rough there, 20 metres out. So Shears skips his way in. Right foot ball, just launches it. And helicopters it through. It's another one. The Cats go to 9-13-67. And the Tigers still yet to score since the first term at 2-1-13. And just ill discipline really starting to creep in. Those are two just rough free kicks. And you'd have to say that Coach Lamberg is just pulling the hair out at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a real opportunity for Broadbeach. We've already mentioned the ladder and how tight it is. Morningside are on 7 wins. Surfers are on 7 wins. Broadbeach will move to 7 wins if they manage to continue on their merry way here this afternoon. But Broadbeach with the best percentage coming into this game of those three. They were 126% versus Morningside's 120 and Surface 112. Mount Gravatt are stuck on 5 wins. Labrador will be stuck on 5 wins as well. So not only is the win important, but potential percentage booster could come into play later in the season. So I'm sure that Bo Zorko is well aware of that and he wants his Chargers to keep the foot down. Nick Burton tracking this one, gets a shepherd through. Oh, nicely done there. How did he end up with that footy? That was beautifully done by Jacob Kenny, although he's turned it over to Ericsson. Ericsson looks up, he wants someone to present for him. No one really immediately does, but this is Hines. He wheels onto the left foot because we know he's a left footer, and he goes bang and kicks another goal. Jake Hines with his first of the afternoon, and the Cats are 10 goals clear on a Sunday afternoon at Subaru Oval.
Yeah, you'd say this game is pretty well done and cooked at this point, and Hines finally gets his goal. I'll tell you what, I've really liked Blake Ericsson's game this afternoon. And despite trying conditions out there, you can see the mud and fatigue creeps in. Even that bit of that mud smell starts to throw you off your game a little bit. But Blake Ericsson just looks like he has all the time in the world out there on that field. And he's set up that much play this afternoon and kicked a couple for himself. So well done, Blake Ericsson.
Yeah, no surprises Broadbeach are in second position. They've got a lot of quality footballers, but Blake Ericsson's the class, isn't he? And you don't win a Grogan medal unless you can play footy, and he's showing us why this afternoon as Wade Mills has moved into the middle trying to spark something. Hollis just decides to do it himself, and do it himself he does. He wins the clearance. Tracking out wide here, tapping rather than taking the footy, goes to Jackson. Jackson gets a handball out. Little left football finds its mark, not on the full, but there's an opportunity for the Tigers. They can't glove it cleanly though, and the Broadbeach defenders circle. Newman lays the tackle, and an opportunity lost there. Jared Mills was just searching for it, but the handball was just too high for him, and opportunity goes begging. So it's in the right area of the ground though for the Tigers. Hollis tapping out wide to Budrick, couldn't take it cleanly. Oh, that's almost a throw for mine. Play on, says the umpire. Ericsson again on the outside, goes on the left foot, tackled as he kicked it, and that affects the kick, goes out of bounds on the full.
Great chase down. Great chase down on the end, so still a bit of fight left in the Tigers, but it's just that pressure. The pressure they've just managed to employ all afternoon. And even when that footy went up, you saw just could not get clean hands because he just knew there was 3 cats possibly breathing down his neck. So they try to go in again. It's a high speculator.
and it's just punched away from the back of the pack. And as we said, cats everywhere around that contest, and they still manage to sit on the outside. Kicks to 2-1 though. This is dangerous. And they've turned it over, so ball the Tigers on centre wing. It's Jacob Kenny. Jacob Kenny, the way he spells it. So he just goes short towards the half forward, chipping forward. Jared Graham now. The leads come out, Retzlaff is ignored. So he's just going to be forced to go long. Play on, says the umpire. Searle's bearing down on him, so he just has to go back again to Kenny, who wanted to go even further back. It's like a tsunami of cats just coming towards him, the wall. As we said, we spoke about the net at the start of the game. They're just trying to shut it down. Ball now turned over the middle of the ground. It's seen written, can't quite bounce to Cloak, but Cloak could be waiting inside. Will he go with the hands in? Right foot ball, all on his own, swinging out wide, gets it on the half volley, turns around the right foot. Don't mind if you do. It's another one to the Cats.
Matty Fowler with his third of the afternoon. He's kicked 3-3 and he's threatening to kick a bag come the end of today. We've ticked over 29, nearly 30 minutes played, but you can see there Labrador just bereft of options, didn't know what to do, where to go. And we saw Broadbeach do that in the second quarter. It was Cloak out in front of us and they went backwards a couple of times, but there was a lot more method to their madness, I suppose, and they were very composed and calm about it, whereas the Labrador boys with the ball in hand almost throwing their hands up in the air saying, I don't know where to go, I don't know what to do. And then in the end pulled the trigger through the middle. I think it was Kai Shears that came through and showed clean hands through the mud pit.
He did that well.
And then they were out the back and gone, and Jackson Fisher could have had the shot really, went to Fowler, didn't hit him as cleanly as he would have liked, but Fowler had all the time in the world as he's just gone into the middle here. Jake Hines has. A few different players rolling through the middle at the moment, but Fowler kicked his third of the afternoon and they're 66 points clear at the moment. Broadbeach doing as they please. Ball's stuck in the mud pit again. That's going nowhere. Oh, it does squeeze out somewhere. Excuse me. Ball back to where it was before. Still backtracking. Ericsson had picked it up and surely the umpire will ball it up for us. He does eventually.
Yeah, takes that finally. The umpire. It's war down there in that mud pit. But the trouble seems to be, we've seen Broadbeach this afternoon so good with their short 45 options, but those just haven't come from the Tigers. So that's why they can't open up the game. As a two-hand punch goes away, and we're right there on three-quarter time. It was Tommy Benson getting that one away, but well, there we have it. It is a 66-point ball game, 11-13, 79 Broadbeach. Heading right on the way to second place. The Tigers still yet to score since that opening term. The game looks pretty written at this point, and now it's going to be all about that very important percentage for the Cats. And, well, we look like we're pretty well done. It's round 13 down here at Subaru Oval. Sunday afternoon football. Broadbeach up against the Tigers, but it's been all the Cats' way. They lead by 66 points. We'll be back for a big final term here at Subaru Oval on QAFL TV. Sunday afternoon, round 13, quaffle action. It's Broadbeach who look cruising towards a victory. They will move into second position unless something drastic changes here. The Tigers, unfortunately, have not scored since the first term and really didn't look like it through the second and third terms, Matty Carroll.
No, they didn't, and you already mentioned that they're a long way back, 66 points coming into this game. Their percentage was only at 88. They're going to take a bit of a hit today too, so they're going to be trying to salvage whatever percentage they can, whereas the Cats, they just want to keep piling it on. Betson unable to get any traction there whatsoever, so Hollis went uncontested, but the ball comes out the cell, just sort of tracking this ball around. Nice clean hand shown there. Handball to Butterick. Butterick turns on the left. Denji's outflown. Oh, nearly a great mark to Daniel. Not paid. Play on, says the umpire. Ball comes to ground. Squeezing handball. Daniel found his feet. This could be their first score since the first quarter. It is, but it's a behind.
Well, they move to 2-2-14, the Tigers, but there we go. The drought has at least been broken. Still trail by quite a way as Kwame Boki just belts it out wide and finds Hines leading out in front. And they look to use the corridor here. The Cats, no team really has this afternoon, but they can run with a bit of confidence right now, the Cats. Ball hits the chest there of Nick Burton. He tracks back a little bit. The lead comes from Cloak, who holds front position straight through his hands. Tigers everywhere. So unless they got the numbers in the contest here, nearly gets his head taken off.
No free
There's
kick.
Jared Graham, not called surprisingly. Absolutely, Matty Carroll. And now he's wrapped up by 3 Cats. He's nearly decapitated right there with Jared Graham, but not seen. And we're going to have a ball up right there on the half-forward line for the Cats. They've got the wind behind them now just to make it a bit crueler as the ball spills its way to the front of the pack. Searle gets it going on the left foot. Gets it forward, drops in front of Shears. Shears has space to run round onto the right. He sets sail for home. Just swings it wide, minor score. The Cats go to 11-14, 80 Labrador, 2-2-14 at 1.5 minutes gone. Fourth term, Matty Carroll.
Ball coming back in from the Tigers again. Seen this plenty this afternoon, and they haven't made a great fist of it, to be fair. Ball comes long and deep. Cloak flies, punches forward. Arnold, the flyer from the back, couldn't take it. Cloak, that one's paid too high. Cloak can't believe that that's been paid too high. Mind you, the fact that the Tiger man hasn't got up yet perhaps suggests that maybe he did collect him a little bit. I think
Show me the evidence. Show me the evidence.
I think Cloak thinks that his head was already down and he burrowed into him, but Tom Davidson, he's earned that free kick. Although he's put it on the head of his teammate there. It was good enough to take it, was Fagan. Plenty of chirp coming here from the Labrador boys as they lead for him. He doesn't use any of them though, and he goes in to the middle. Ball comes to Denji's. Denji's just doesn't even go for the ball. Gives a free kick away. They could have gone with the advantage, but they don't. Daniel goes over to Retzlaff. Retzlaff just fakes out his opponent there and ends up with the footy. He's only got a shorter man option deep, so he just holds on to it for the moment. Goes eventually, but there's Cats everywhere here, and they just mop this up nicely, and that's Hancock. So Hancock will look to the far side. He's got his runner. It doesn't really hit him. That's Ericsson, but it bounces kindly. Flicks it over the top, and they're away on the outer side.
Yes, they are. They're just going to move this ball wide. Going to look down the line. Nicely taken out in front. He's just held up a little bit there, but not for too long. Play on says, no, it is 50. I was going to say, I thought he was just spending a little bit too much time holding on there. So that's a bad 50 to give away, to give up that sort of field position when conditions are quite trying. They've already got the breeze behind him. So now, the generous 50, I'd say, as the hands come back in and the umpire's called it back because we've got something down behind play.
Cloak.
Oh, a bit of mayo on that one, Jace. Tell you what, he's going to hurt himself doing that, but regardless, Cloak is going to have a pretty simple shot at goal. He hasn't kicked one this afternoon as the big man, but 4 behinds last week, and we want to make amends for that. But he's been dishing them off a fair bit, I've been told, so far this season.
Yeah, been quite unselfish early on, and I mean early in the season he hadn't had much of a pre-season, so he was always going to work his fitness back, but he is a really dangerous option up forward for Broadbeach, and he's such a presence too.
Well, that's the thing, he just creates that sort of pressure down there. You don't want to be the defender on him. It means you're going to do something silly to try and stop him. He'll use all his experience. Cloak comes in, right foot ball, first goal of the 4th term to the Cats, and Cloak gets his first for the afternoon, 23. His tally for the season as they go a little bit further ahead now. And Broadbeach really, as we said, they're blowing this one wide open, and it's going to do a lot for their percentage.
I can only imagine, as I looked down when the umpire blew the whistle, Cloak was prone on the ground, and His opponent, Jaden Young, was not really close to him, but it did appear that he'd just been thrown to the ground and the umpire was all over it.
Not easy to do.
All over it. Well, we did see how easily he went down earlier on trying to milk the 50, but not suggesting anything, Jason, whatsoever. Earned the free kick, kicked the goal on the back of a 50-metre penalty as well, so some ill discipline costing Labrador there. And the ball goes back to the middle, and so Broadbeach will look to build on this 72-point lead. 12 goals to the good at the moment. Hollis doesn't get a hand on it, goes by foot, tries to toe poke it out once, twice. Squeezing handball out, comes to Labrador, and they go forward, and that's a nice mark out in front. Well taken by Reece Coombe.
That should be 50, and it is.
And it is. That's silly.
Oh, don't
silly.
give it away. I'll tell you what, Butterick came in to remonstrate, and you don't want to do something silly at this point. They haven't kicked a goal since the first term, the Tigers.
It was Rainsford Stone, the man, and just went on with it a little bit too long, and Coombs going to march to the goal line, and this will be their first goal since the first quarter. So some welcome respite for the Tigers. Comes in and kicks the goal, and finally they get their third of the afternoon. It's been quite the drought. First goal since about halfway through that first quarter, and the Tigers have 3 on the board.
It was a good mark out in front there by Coombe. Really held his body well. Saw the ball was dropping, jumped at the right time, and Stone, the first gamer, as you said, just carried on a little bit too much there. But no, that'll give a bit of hope there, the Tigers. And you wouldn't want to see the Cats take their foot off the pedal here. Percentage so important in this very tight season. And just a bit of hope. And the fact that that goal has come from elsewhere rather than Retzlaff and Mills will mean a lot to the Tigers. So they've struggled for other options this season. As I said, Retzlaff 23 for the year, the second highest goal kicker. Is Baru, he's out this year. He's out this game. So it drops down to Davidson, 7 goals this season. So need some more options down for the Tigers as the ball goes forward, and none of them can get some speed going out of that mud as hard as they try. Just ridden into the turf there, not called by the umpire. And we're going to have a ball up just inside the centre square. Cats on the offensive.
Yeah, it was a good tap from Betson, but Fisher just couldn't get going to catch up to it. Went off the ground eventually, but really couldn't do much with it. So Hollis taps it down. Thrown out of the way was a Tiger. Play on, says the umpire. Boakey will back his speed and strength here if he can pick this up and go. Might use Lyons. Good tackle laid, though. Doesn't allow him to get up immediately. And he comes away with the footy. Well done by Clements. Clements goes by hand. Through the middle they come. Fagan's got it in the middle of Subaru Park. He does a chipping ball through to Coombs. He's going to earn another free kick here.
And he gets some numbers down, the Tigers. It just seems slow to do so. So they're trying to keep it wide open for Retzlaff, who's calling it out to the space. Goes in the lead now. They're going to look for him. It's a good kick out in front. Great take.
Beautiful hands.
Really strong hands there from Retzlaff.
Good kick too, right out in front. Only one man could put his name on that footy, and Retzlaff, under some pretty decent pressure from Ben Hancock, was able to just put the big mitts out in front, and it stuck for him.
Bryce Retzlaff, as we said, 23 goals for the season, just the one this afternoon. So the shutdown job's been done really well with him. Hasn't given him too much time or space, because that's what he can do with the space. You put that ball out in front of him, he's going to juke it. So their forward 50 entries have been difficult for the Tigers, but now they need to make the most out of this one. So Retzlaff, it's a 66-point game. Comes in. Booming right foot kick. It's got the distance easily, but stays to the near side of the post for Retzlaff, and it's through for a minor score. So the Tigers, they go to 3-3-21. They trail the Cats 12-14, 86, 8.5 minutes gone, fourth term.
At least they're doing some scoring in this last quarter. They're getting the ball forward. See if the Cats can rectify it. Dempsey C tries to fly. Couldn't quite get a jump at it. The Tigers pick it up. Dempsey C comes again, almost in the back. Play on, says the umpire. Good pressure there from the ruckman. Snapping ball across Boakey, just minding his own business at half back, and the ball lands in his lap. So he looks up the line, doesn't have much. Dempsey C's got down the line and he's calling for it. He goes shorter though, O'Shea. O'Shea will look up. Let's see if they continue with their pattern today, which has been to go on the 45s and try and switch it up. They don't, they go longer. Cloak to fly. Oh, good spoil coming across there, although trouble here. Fisher picks it up. He's got runners. He doesn't use any of them, and he's gone. Beautifully tackled. Well done. That's Jared Mills, I'm pretty sure, with the tackle. And good pressure there from the Tigers. So they're showing some fight in this last quarter, which is good to see. He squares it across here. That is Tyler Brown. He goes wider still. Ball still going backwards. This is Jaden Young. Young might come inboard to Graham, doesn't use him. He's going to try and go to switch. No, we've seen this a bit unsure of where to go. He comes in short, it works though.
Better.
Brown again. Oh, no one wants that. It's stuck in the mud now. Nelson picks it up. Nicely done there. Good hands. Here's Fisher. Just palms him off. Goes to Burton. Burton looks up. There's 3 on 1 here for the Tigers. He can't take the mark though. Lets Fowler in a little bit, but they've got numbers out the back. They stem the flow. He should chip wide here to Jackson. He does so. Jackson's on his own. He takes the mark. He looks up. He's got Davidson over the top. He doesn't go there. That's a nice kick. Bit more Broadbeach-like on the 45s there. And he's been busy, Coon, this last quarter. Boki will fly at this one. Spoils. Will he pick it up? He does. Will he run with it? He handballs to himself, and now he's away. Good play from Boki. Oh, what a clever kick that is to Dempsey C. They're out here. Benji Neal. Fowler goes left, goes right. Benji Neal cuts across. Decides, I'll just have the shot, boys. Don't worry. Just misses. Benji Neal, that's his 3rd behind of the afternoon. He's kicked 1 goal, 3. And Broadbeach, 12 goals, 15, 87. This could have been a bigger win, really, but for some poor goal kicking. And Labrador are out here from the kick out. Nicely done.
Not bad.
They're working their way through, Nick.
Just got to keep running here. The Tigers have been flat-footed as they go forward, so time to make something to do. There's money in mud. Got to make that happen. Right foot ball comes from the wing to the half-forward flank. They've opened it up. Runs round onto the right, gets it going. Oh, he just came through with a fist. I would have gone the 2 hands for the mark, but no. Anyway, fumbles around for it. Nick Jackson just keeps the pressure on, holds his man there, tries to wrap him up, appeals for holding the ball. Not called. The umpire, well, I'll tell you what, it's about to be, and yes, it is. Yeah, he sort of just dived on the footy and didn't make enough of an attempt to get that out. So, smart play there by the Tigers. It was Nick Jackson who just wrapped him up in a cage and a little chip. Did he try some treatment afterwards? No. He's got to dig his way out of here. Did he get front on contact? No, he didn't. And the umpire looks like he's just going to ball it up, and a bit of heat's coming back into the contest, Matty Carroll.
Yeah, a little bit frustrated. Matty Daniel there got crunched in a tackle. Tom Davidson and Jack O'Shea just having a bit of a chat on the way down to this stoppage. So, ball goes up. Dempsey C flies high. Nice tap down, although it's sharked here. And going to ground with the footy there was Jared Mills, and we'll have another ball up. 12 minutes gone in the final quarter, and Labrador have stemmed the bleeding at least. Hasn't got out of hand at this stage. Tap down, immediately claimed, and I'd say we're bound for a 3rd stoppage in a row, and that's what we are. So, Labrador, let's see, can they get somebody on the move? Can they muster a bit of energy? Davidson goes, the ball doesn't come his way. Daniel couldn't quite take the mark, the ball's just gone straight down. That's a nice handball out though, and Ericsson standing on the outside goes to Neil. He'll want it back, he gets it back. Ericsson will run now. He just steps off that boot, tries to find Hines, couldn't quite. Hines has got a metre or so on Mills. He gathers, uses the right boot this time. Ericsson just keeps running, couldn't take it though. Fisher to come through, he'll get it again, Ericsson. 4th, 5th effort in this sequence. Ball comes back to Hines. Hines comes inboard. Oh, he should have been picked off, but left behind by Budrick. Not really sure where to go, Kenny. Looking left, looking right, ended up kicking it to the umpire nearly. Boki gets rid of his man. He doesn't really want to run through the middle. He sort of props on the edge of the mud and kicks it across it instead of running through it. Lyons coming through. Oh, he had it gathered. He gets it now. He's a speedster. Where's he going to go with the footy? Looking left, looking right. Fowler. Oh, great mark. Well done there.
He ran a long way there, Lions.
He did. That was a nice mark from Dane Watmouth.
Generous 15, Watmouth just getting out in front just in time. Kicks across.
For Jackson, can't quite get there. Ball spills around. The Cats can turn this over. They're clean with their hands. Lyons really gets collected, then just dumped into the turf. Play on, says the umpire, because the ball spilled out. Boki just wraps him up in a massive tackle. And now that footy has finally come to a grinding halt. So it's a 66-point game, 12-15, 87. The Cats have got this one in the bag. Labrador 3-3-21 as the ball goes back up on the half-forward flank. Just manages to get a little chip away. Has to dance through the contest. Gets the hands out. And I was going to say, the non-officiating umpire has called that for over the shoulder. And we're going to have the footy back. So he's done that quite well because he was nearly gone holding the ball there. He just lost his feet from underneath, but that arm came over the shoulder. He's going to be able to get this one away.
I think it's Clements that's going to end up with the ball, and the officiating umpire may have felt that he ducked into it a bit, but the out-of-zone umpire thought there was enough in it to pay a high free kick, and so Clements their beneficiary. He comes short. It's a nice kick. Coming through the middle here is Fagan. Fagan goes by hand back to Clements. He's in the mud. This is going to be difficult. I thought he was going to end up face planting straight into it. Standing underneath it is Chadwick does well. Comes out wide to Hines. Hines has got all day to assess his options. Chips into Cloak. Cloak goes back, takes the mark. Cloak looks up, wants a runner, doesn't quite have one. He's going to go right out the other side. Josh Sell standing all by himself. The ball gets to him and he goes. Should give a handball. They're away. Coming through here. Oh, they've got numbers all over the place. I'm not sure who that was designed for. Oh, it doesn't end up going for the mark. Does Hollis? Fisher says thanks very much. Chadwick goes by foot. That's a nice kick, and this will be Betson. And he's played pretty well today, Tommy Betson, and this will be just rewards for a hard day's work.
Yeah, he's rushed really well today, Betson. I've been surprised about how much spring he's managed to get out of that mud pit as the lights now come on here at Subaru Oval and the rain just starts to spatter down a bit. So, as he said, he deserves a goal here, Betson. He'll come in, he's going to kick from about 30 metres out, sends it on its way. Goal umpire does not move. And that's their 13th for the afternoon. The Cats, they go to 13-15. They lead the Tigers 3-3 as we just head towards the 16-minute mark of this fourth term. And as you said, Matty Carroll, Betson, he's been a colossus in the ruck this afternoon.
Yeah, he's been good outsized as he is most weeks, Betson, but you've alluded to his spring, which is his real go-to in the ruck. Hines has done well, and it's been difficult for Betson in that mud pit, as you mentioned, in the centre to use that spring effectively, but he just battles and battles and battles, and I'm sure Bo Zorko will be pretty happy with his work once again. So it pushes back out to a 12-goal margin. 93 plays 21, and Broadbeach would like to just put a bit of icing on the cake by getting a few more goals. A few boys on ice skates in the middle again there. Nice feeding handball out, and they'll come wide.
Go Quabs, go Quabs!
Quabi doesn't quite get the ball there. Ericsson turns back onto his left boot. Doesn't quite hit it how he would like, and that's out of bounds on the full. Probably the only time today that we've seen him be a bit unsure by foot or by hand.
Yeah, a little cute there. Skew with little torpedoes. Sent it into the bench, so now the Tigers can reload. Sam Walker just bombs it towards forward 50. Cats at the front of the pack. Fly comes from Retzlaff. Ericsson makes good. Gets the hands going forward. They're running in waves here, the Cats. Look at them go. Hands back to the outside. Ericsson provides the shepherd as he manages to turn to the left. Finds Dempsey C. He's got a runner over the top if he wants him. If he sees him now, he's going to go to him. Finds him right there. It's Kai Shears. Takes it close to the boundary. Tucked in hard, he's going to run just round onto that right foot there. The lead comes from Cloak, doesn't go to him, goes inboard, nearly just picks it out of the air, O'Shea. Hasn't flown as much this half, but nearly takes the head off his opponent. Labrador bench appealed for a high tackle, but it wasn't called.
Happy with that, I reckon. O'Shea did well because he was coming in low and hard, Budrick, and he just met him. So, well done, Jack O'Shea.
And the umpire defends his position there. Just says, don't forget, boys, I'm in charge of this. I run the rules. As close body contest there. Gets first hands the footy. Does Davidson. Seen enough of him this afternoon as ball goes long forward, but it's just taken cleanly on the chest by Hancock, who's been a bit of an unsung hero this afternoon. He's had the tough job, of course, on Retzlaff, that has done the shut-down job very well indeed as the Cats look to switch it through the middle of the ground, and they are out and away if they can be clean with it. Bounces up in front of Jacko Fisher, who just beats the tackle, gets the hands back on the inside. Now it's going forward again, courtesy of Dengies. Dengies with that big bomb goes towards Searle. Searle couldn't be clean with it, but tunnel balls it through the back. How about that from Searle, but still puts his man under a bit of pressure. I liked what he did, but unfortunately it didn't quite work out, and the Tigers turn the footy over and go forward down the wing.
Very clever from Searle there, but Fowler couldn't beat the tackle from Kenny. Good tackle from Jacob Kenny. He won the free kick, and that's led to Labrador having the footy on the far side. This is Daniel. Daniel looks up. The rain's falling again at Subaru Oval. It's getting a little bit dark, a little bit cold here on a Sunday afternoon. And 12 goals down, you could forgive Labrador for just begging for this final siren to come as soon as possible. Whereas the Broadbeach boys, they want to put some more goals on the board. And they're going to run it out. This is Arnold. He goes by hand to Hines. Hines picks it up cleanly. Nice take. Surveys his options, goes long down the line. Once Neil, couldn't quite get it. Shears takes the footy, tries to shrug the tackle, can't do it. Nicely done there. Ooh, that is too high for mine.
Yeah.
Not given. Tell you what, he's very lucky there, Tyler Brown. feel like that one probably deserved a free kick, but not paid. And the umpire is given a free kick against Tom Davidson.
For abuse.
Yeah, he's not happy with that non-decision from the umpire. The umpire's just explaining things to him. Benji Neal's going to take the free kick.
He had a bit of a point. Probably paid to him there, had a bit of a point.
There's a right way to go about it though, isn't there? And I'm sure if he had done it politely, the umpire would have had the chat. I don't feel like it was as polite as the umpire wanted. As Boki goes long, fouler, marks.
Nice and clean.
No, Hines. I've mixed them up again. This is unbelievable. I mentioned it was a bit dark.
This is not on the commentary team.
I'm sorry, Matthew and Jake.
This right here is on the Fashion Stakes down at Broadbeach. You have to decide at the start of the year who gets the haircut. Now, maybe if, I don't know, you have a goal kicking contest, we'll see. But right now it's Hines, rocking the Fowler-esque man bun. Comes in with a left foot ball, starts at right, left, swings it left through for a minor score. And they go to 13-16-94, the Tigers 3-3-21. What I was a little bit troubled. I know it wasn't called for head-high contact there, but none of the Tigers players went in to remonstrate there. And I don't mean it like in a sort of an uncouth sort of way, but they weren't in there to protect this player when he was taken out a little bit rough. Just, yeah. I know they're a bit flat at the moment, and I'll go back and look at this tape and see a few areas where they've fallen down, but the heart still has to be in there right till the end, Matty Carroll.
Yeah, probably one of those ones where he was a bit isolated in his area of the ground too. There weren't too many Tigers in the vicinity and just kind of trickled out of bounds. So at the end of a long afternoon, you're 12 goals down. You can forgive them a little bit for perhaps not pushing all the way across, but he's been dacked here at the bottom of this pack. I think Jaden Young's lost his strides a little bit.
Oh, no,
he's going to pick him up.
Blow the camera up.
A virtuise. He just pulls his strides up there. They have a bit of a giggle about it. And so, Betson and Hollis. Umpire wants them to separate. Betson says you move. Hollis says you move. Oh, Hollis didn't like Betson there at all.
Oh, nice.
Not sure what he actually did, Tommy Betson.
I'll keep an eye on those two.
He's really not happy with it. But Kenny's going to take the footy. They go by hand out wide and they've got some room to move. Coming through the middle of Subaru Oval. Only Retzlaff to kick to, and he just couldn't find him. And Retzlaff's just outnumbered, unfortunately. So Hancock, he's got Cloak out wide. He hasn't seen him yet. He goes the other way. They've got numbers everywhere out wide here. They might just chip this ball around. He's got Chadwick next link in the chain, uses him now. Chadwick looks to go over the top, pushing hard to position and not being used. He could still use him. He doesn't. They're going to come back this way. If Ericsson just holds his ground and turns around, he might get a kick here. He's not aware of the situation though.
He's got plenty of touches this afternoon, so I think he can come to the bench saying, job well done.
He's going to give Joel Newman a turn. That's an interesting kick. That just went to no one. Labrador win the footy, but again, gee, the sting's gone right out of this one. There's some tired boys out there and dropping another mark there. Go the Tigers, feeding back here. That's Mills. He's going to come inboard, you would imagine. He's missed the target. Oh, I thought he'd missed the target. He didn't miss it completely. Newman, can he pick it up? He can. Nice footwork. Gets a boot to it just. And Mills takes the mark.
Well, it's just reached that point in the game now, hasn't it? Everyone's just a little bit flat. The Tigers players just trying to see this through to the end. And the Cats, well, they're just going to be lining up at this point. It's these days, these rainy, muddy days where the tackles don't hurt if you're winning. You love to have a bit of a roll around. And it's always unfortunate if you're wearing the light coloured jersey and you don't come off the field with enough mud on you. It's always a cruel indictment, but the Tigers, they go forward again, courtesy of Lakeman. The Lake Show sends it forward. Taken nice out in front by Matty Daniel. Daniel just bombs in the Retzlaff direction. He needs to work a bit, Retzlaff, but the ball comes through. Right foot snap out of the pack. And it's through.
Nice goal. That's Fagan, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he's done that well indeed. Oh, I'll tell you what, I don't think we heard Cooey out of the Tigers box there. No. That was the quietest goal I've heard all season. But it's through. They move to 4-3-27 Labrador. And Broady sitting nicely out in front, 13-16-94. We've played nearly 24 minutes in this fourth term as the lights are on. Just trickling that little bit. Grey skies over Subaru Oval. And well, they only scored 5 goals, 10 last time these two sides met. It was 52 points on that day. And it's a credit to the Cats defenders, really being able to perform the shutdown job this afternoon. And they'll come back, they'll look at this tape. Coach Lamberk will say, guys, even though the corridors may be out, that's something we'll probably have to look towards a little bit more. So they go up in the ruck again. It's Dempsey Shea who does the ruck work this time. And We've just spoken about those numbers they have around the contest, the Cats, and just keep that pressure on. But it's going the Tigers' way, and you only just see the jersey there. So they go back towards it through the corridor again. I don't mind that. They're attacking as two Cats run into each other, but they've just got the weight of numbers. O'Shea gets crunched, but gets the hands out just in time. Now they're off across the half-back line. It's Sorensen who has to go back. Searle mops up his footy. Says, come here, young man, I'll clean that job up for you. Right, left foot ball towards the wing, but it's chopped off. Tigers footy, and they can reload and try and go back in through the middle, finding Jared Young is young, and we've got a whistle, and it's going to be downfield.
Didn't pick that one up.
I think Young might have just got a little bit afterwards, and comes over and
he's getting the ball.
Yeah, he is. So it must have happened to him. So it has to be contact on him for that. It must have been right in the kicking motion for it to happen. So, well, maybe they can equal their tally from last time. 4-3-27, the Tigers. Remember, they hadn't scored until the opening little part of this fourth term. They hadn't kicked a goal since the first term, and now they sit 4 goals, 3-27. Jared Young, as time goes back on, got all the sting out of this contest at the moment, and the umpire sprints towards the clubhouse, which only tells you it's out of bounds on the full, and, well, that sort of summarises the day for the Tigers, just not going their way as Kwame Boki will kick out from the back pocket.
Yes, it's dark, it's getting cold, it's wet, the rain's trickling down. I feel for the girls who are coming on after this game, AFLW match after this one. They're not going to have the best of the conditions, that's for sure, but Boki's turned it over there, although a good bit of pressure came through from Sorensen to affect the turnover. Ball comes out, almost to the wing, coming in hard there, tackled down nicely, Nelson. That was a good tackle from Mills. He's shown something in this last quarter, Mills.
Well, he started so strong, but just went quiet for those second and third terms when his side really needed him. He's great on his day, Mills, but I reckon he's just been a bit flat-footed today. His conditions probably don't work well for the knees. As well, we're trying to get a sneaky hand pass off there, and he'll be called back. I think ever opportunistic Benji Neal.
I think you're talking about Wade Mills. I'm talking about his namesake.
Right.
The other Mills, Jared Mills.
Sorry, I went off on a tangent there.
That's okay.
So I've given apologies to Wade Mills. I've given him a drive-by in that case. As Cloak comes out and just whack it goes into that chest.
Blake Erickson, the class player on the field, clearly best on ground for mine, Nick. I'm not sure your thoughts, but a handball from Cloak to Neal. Neal just leans back on it from 50 metres out, and he tugs another one.
He's done that a bit this afternoon.
Benji Neal, 1 goal 4 for the afternoon. He could have had a big day. Getting plenty of it, just
stop handing them off, Clokey.
The big sticks. So Jacob Kenny with the ball. Retzlaff wants it out wide. He looks that way. He doesn't kick it hard enough to get to him. Gets over the top. Retzlaff does get it, although Cloak, it's pitch and go out. Out of bounds it goes. Right in front of the commentary box here. 27.5 minutes gone. Broadbeach 13-17-95, leading Labrador 4-3-27. 68-point margin as it stands at the moment, and probably not a great deal left in this one, you wouldn't have thought, Nick.
90 seconds, I'd say, left in this game. As he's around the contest there. There's Hines still going, second, third, fourth effort, still trying to keep going. As the hand just reached the footy back in there, it was Newman who actually dragged it in, but the umpire not in the right position to see that, so we're going to have another ball up just towards the Cats' half forward flank. A minute 20 left in this clash as Dempsey C gets the tap going forward. Nicely done there by Butterick. Just kept trying to force the contest, and unfortunately, there we go. Wrapped up by the experienced campaigner and Searle. Butterick just tried to get something going forward, but as the rain comes down on his muddy outfit, he has his hands on his hips and goes, well, I tried to do everything I could. Searle gets it going forward to the hot spot. O'Shea! Oh, no. Well, I was going to say, they've called him for unrealistic attempt, but you've seen his body of work in the first and second quarter, so I would call that realistic. And that is his 6th massive fly this afternoon, but unfortunately, with just under a minute to go in this game, I just don't think he's going to take another hanger, which is really unfortunate, because the amount of spring he's got off the ground this afternoon has been incredible, as Kwame Boki keeps it going forward. They dance back inside the Cats, maybe just looking for one more goal. Searle waiting down, and I'll tell you what, it's just not going the Tigers' way at the moment.
He's going to get a free kick. It's Hines.
It's
definitely Hines.
It's definitely Hines. Yep, lock it in. Hines. Now, if you are O'Shea, get to the goal square. Get to the goal square. Give the people what they want. Just about 15 seconds left in this game. As Hines
will probably have the last say of the afternoon. Well, he doesn't want... He might have to give it off. No, he's going to go for it.
Got the barrel.
Oh, he's kept it low.
Oh, you're joking. Well, you said before it summed up the Cats Day and the Tigers Day. I think that play right there does. I think it's Nick Burton expecting that one to go over his head by about 30 metres. Instead, keeping his eye on the ball as every good forward should. And Nick Burton's got an opportunity to finish the game with a goal here. Margin currently stands at 68 points. The only interest left is, will it be a behind, will it be a goal, or will he miss the target completely, which is on the cards from what we've seen, but Nick Burton...
Just trying to get some of the mud off his hands.
I've seen him play a lot of footy over the years, Nick Burton, and I'm not going to put the moz on him, I'm not trying to, but he is a good kick for goal. Nick Burton, don't let me down, son. He hasn't. Good boy, Nicky. He kicks his second of the afternoon, and the final margin blows out to 74 points. Broadbeach get home 14-17, 101 to Labrador, 4 goals, 3-27. Real even spread of goal kickers for the Cats. Chook Fowler kicked 3 goals, 3 this afternoon. There were 2 for Nick Burton. Blake Erickson kicked 2 as well on singles for Neil, Fisher, Shears, Miller, Cloak, Betson and Hines, whereas for the Tigers, 4 solitary goals. Fagan got 1, Coombe got 1, Mills got 1, and Retzlaff got 1. Who are your best players, Nick?
Oh, I really enjoyed the work of Ericsson this afternoon. As we said, he just looked like he had all the time in the world out there. As we said, very trying conditions. But every time he got his hands on the footy, Broadbeach just looked so very dangerous. It was a tough afternoon for the Tigers, I'd say. Mills and Retzlaff presented really well to start with, but I think my favourite out there this afternoon would probably have to go to Butterick. He just kept trying and trying in those conditions, but not many positives to take out of the afternoon for Labrador. Next week, they have an even tougher task. They take on the undefeated Palm Beach Currumbin. Well, Broadbeach look to really consolidate their now position in the top 2. They take on Wilson Grange. Matty Carroll, it has been a tough afternoon this afternoon, but the Cats just far too good as the women run out for the QAFLW match. This field will not be pretty. It's been chewed up. But I'll tell you what, we don't mind watching a bit of winter football here in Queensland. It was a Sunday afternoon, and Broadbeach, they were far too good. They ran away 74-point winners here at round 13. Matty Carroll, thank you very much for joining us in the commentary box this afternoon. Always great to call with the best of the Gold Coast.
Thanks very much, Nick. It's been a good afternoon. Broadbeach, far too good.
Well, we'll wrap this one up here. We'll see you next week for a massive round 14. Quaffle action, we're heading towards September. And Broadbeach look like they have booked their ticket. We'll see you then. Thank you very much for joining us.